ないといいなみんな位置について現場は静かに静かにもう揺れないといいなみんな位置について現場は静かに静かに Hey, I said quiet. You light up the city sky, shining bright like a supernova. Your love is a force of mine, making my heart race like a motor. Chains can't hold me down, with a flick I'll break free. Every villain in this town better step back and let us be. Don't feel calling, don't be shy. It's happy hour, and here's why. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Your love's a shockwave, making hearts beat faster. Whoa, 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 my heart's in overdrive. Searching through the neon glow, my heart burns like a fire. I'll melt the shadows, you know, with the love that never tires. We're going on a quest to protect what we cherish, but don't lose sight of our best. In the dawn, let our worries perish. Don't feel calling, don't be shy. It's happy hour, and here's why. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Your love's a shockwave, making hearts beat faster. Whoa, 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 my heart's in overdrive. No force can shatter the peace we have found. Our bond is like a tether, stronger with each challenge. Don't feel calling, don't be shy. It's happy hour, and here's why. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Your love's a shockwave, making hearts beat faster. Whoa, 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 my heart's in overdrive. On this journey we defend our love strong and bright. Bring back the joy, my friend, let's ignite the night. Don't feel calling, don't be shy. It's happy hour, and here's why. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Your love's a shockwave, making hearts beat faster. Whoa, 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 my heart's in overdrive. I wonder if Josh is gonna make this time.
Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you think Josh will make it back eventually. I believe he's exploring those Chilean temples, those ancient mounds from before the flood that contain all that sacred video game data. But speaking of things from yesteryear, it looks like My Hero Academia has come to an end, and here to talk about that with me is Lady Nerdigans. Welcome aboard.
Hi. It's crazy. It's 10 years. 10 years, and this isn't even, there's been so many series that are ending their serialization that started like 10 years ago. Twin Star Exorcist, it will be next month. Noragami was earlier this year. Tomodachi Game, it was today. And Servamp is later this year.
Yep.
It's insane.
Not only that, but we also... Well, and the video game apparently closed down as well. Yeah.
And also My Hero Academia, this is very interesting. So there's a worldwide character poll like we saw with Naruto, right? And the thing that's different with this is that it got a ad in the New York Times.
Okay.
That's something that you didn't see with Naruto from what I remember.
No, again, that was a long time ago too, so anime wasn't quite as hot.
No, Naruto was like, it was recent. It was like less than a year ago. So it's, and remember what the Toho president said. They're going to try and make My Hero Academia like big. They're going to push it. So Shueisha must have gotten really on board with that if that's the case.
I have no clue, to be honest with you. My Hero Academia I find completely boring and an absolute ripoff of Marvel Comics. Horikoshi does everything he can to copy-paste. I think it's a little more copy-paste. It's hard not to see Spider-Man in Deku, especially when he gets his black whip. And it's hard not to see Superman in All Might. And it's sort of, as a guy who comes from a long line of fan fiction, it's really fan fiction with better doodles. And I'm kind of glad that it's over with because it's been inspiring the worst kind of ideas and kind of superheroism where we got to reach into the hero and find the darkness inside of them. And over here in the West, we're very, very tired of this. All Might coming around and be like, you know what? I was actually too good of a symbol of peace, and I ended up hurting a lot of people. It was at that point that I wanted to fly over to Japan and give Horikoshi a nice smack across the face.
Well,
that's pretty dumb.
Here's the thing with Horikoshi, and if you've read Vigilantes, you know that you could definitely tell. With Furuhashi, who's the mangaka Vigilantes and now Spider-Man Octopus Girl, you know he can write heroes, he can write villains, everything. Horikoshi, he is not a hero writer. He is not. He is an anti-hero and villain writer. Yep. That's where he thrives.
Yep.
And you could tell. That's why All Might was like, when you saw Stain with All Might, that's when All Might like got back to where he was. And the Stain erasure at the end of the in the epilogue really frustrated me. It's like you have Spinner there, you have Deku there, you have All Might there. Stain was the one that got you're dealing with spoilers. Just deal with it. You have Spinner there, and if it wasn't for Stain, Spinner would have never joined the League of Villains. Wasn't even mentioned. I was like, what? Why would you not mention that? And also there was no Knuckle Duster there, who, if it wasn't for Knuckle Duster, Stain would have never became Stain. He was not even there at all. That really irritates me, and it will forever irritate me.
Well, sure. And again, like the series itself had a lot of things that were never closed down. We never found out who Deku's dad was. That's he said
it was going to happen like in 2018 at the San Diego Comic-Con.
We never found out that. We never found out who Bakugo's dad was. We never found out what exactly had the two of them interested in All Might. We never found why Nana Shimura was so destitute, why she was alone in all of this, why no one was around her to even help her with her child. We never found out any of this stuff. And it was just all like, Horikoshi was like, that's enough X-Men ripping off for me. I'm going to retire. I'm a bajillions now.
Well,
and that's it.
Well, the thing is, part of me wonders, because we've seen it before. We know in the training arc that there was editorial interference. Because it was supposed to be like more of a villain-based arc. There was supposed to be more villainy. So I have to wonder how much editorial interference there was.
Well, Kenneth Renz Domingo brings this up, and it's to your point. He says, at least these series are ending on their own terms, but I can't say the same for the future of manga being serialized because of Maharu Beni, and Mizuho's ventures in Shogakukan.
Shogakukan?
Sure, whatever that is.
Yeah, Shogakukan is one of the publishers. I mean, I just think about what happened with Makoto, the mangaka of Zatch Bell. He had a major falling out with Shogakukan. That was over art, though. It was a little bit different. But as soon as he left and started his own publisher, he didn't have to deal with that shit anymore.
Well, Luigi the Metal 64 says, I know Sailor Moon was supposed to be a short manga. Yeah. Well, oops. And that's the truth behind it, too, is that as Nerdigans has shown me, that Shueisha, as well as its American brand, Viz, are accepting one-shots from independent creators like myself, who, otherwise aren't aiming to put on a longer series. But odds are, one or two of those is going to get picked up for serialization. They'll offer you enough money to keep doing it.
But the difference is, there's a difference where Viz, you're not going to get in Japan. Shueisha, as you saw with No Name, is getting serialized in Japan and, worldwide.
Yeah.
So there's a difference. Viz manga is just screwing with you in that regard.
What do you know? An American corporation that's not being forefront. How about that?
Well, they're not giving you any artistic freedom either, like Shueisha is with the Manga Plus Creators app.
Well, speaking of artistic freedom, we've got Baldur's Gate celebrating a year of weirdo companion choices.
I thought that was so random.
This is all they had to brag about, apparently. After a year, this is all they had to brag about.
Well, the thing that I thought was funny was IGN specifically pointed out how many times people screwed the bear. I was like,
is this corresponding with that woman thing on the street there where they chose the bear instead of the man? Is that what we're...
No,
is this like Bear Lover Simulator?
I just was dying when I saw this on my Twitter feed. I was like, what?
You know what we're talking about, right? There was this man on the street interview where he asked women if they would.
I know what you're talking about. I know exactly what you're talking about.
But if you would rather be with a bear or with a man, and they chose the bear.
Before this, though, the whole Baldur's Gate thing was before that, so that's why I'm like, I think that might not have anything to do with that. That's just a whole separate thing. But I was dying, like the fact that they're so focused on the goddamn bear. It kind of, for me, it's like, okay, this kind of confirms that IGN is being ran by furries.
Well, 63% of players chose the Dream Guardian form. We get it. Denial is a powerful motivator. Gosh, these people are horny. like seriously, guys over at Baldur's Gate devs, you really just, get laid. Get laid. This is not okay. This is not okay. Tentacle monster sex is not okay. We shouldn't be celebrating that, okay? We give the Japanese shit about that, okay? But yeah, there we go. There's modern gaming this is what they want to talk about. It's not how many people are enjoying the game. It's how many people are having sex in the game and what they're having sex with at the what rate amount of sex they're having with it. It's amazing. And somehow I'm the worst for wanting sexy women in video games. Well, yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, you have something to say about that too? Because he's just meowing. I don't know what he wants.
Well, speaking of sexy women in video games, we had previously misjudged Mecha Break. Mecha Break was revealed at the summer video game doodads a couple months ago. They were back in June, and we were judging it as like a Gundam ripoff and, just kind of like general mecha video game. But it has a twist. The music isn't the twist. The character creator is the twist. We really misjudged this.
Oh my god.
Look at this. Wait till you see her in the seat. It's ridiculous. I love it though. Come on, show me. Like, look, there's the catapult from Gundam. And does it show her in the seat? No, it doesn't. Okay. So we'll just go back to this introduction phase. Like, we, at first we were like, you know what, this game, it's just another general mecha game. And then I'm like, I'm having second thoughts about it now.
I almost forgot that, and something we should talk about is the new Dynasty Warriors game finally got announced.
Look at that. Her hips are wider than her shoulders. This is ridiculous.
She has like a camel toe.
Yeah, it's more like a moose knuckle popping out of there. That's what that is. It's a moose knuckle right there.
Oh, no.
But,
experience rep, I guess.
Well, hey, you know what, guys? I misjudged Mecha Break. I thought it was just going to be another one of those, giant robots that are almost not Gundam games. But apparently, there is more than meets the eye. So, there you go. Mecha Break. Previously misunderstood. Poor Mecha Break. But Koei Tecmo would like to remind us that there's a 25th anniversary we should be celebrating this year, and that's for Dynasty Warriors. The Dynasty Warriors franchise celebrated its 24th anniversary right here on August 3rd. Thank you very much for your continued support. We are very pleased to be working on the newest title in the series, Dynasty Warriors Origins, because Dynasty Warriors 9 was so bad, they couldn't afford to go with Dynasty Warriors 10. They had to go all the way back to the beginning. I love it. Yeah, see, that is the one with the well-endowed women. Yeah, I see. See, that's the game to have, right? It's like that Stellar Blade one. Like, we know what you want. You're going to spend most of the time in the robot, but when you're not in the robot, you should enjoy that experience, too. But yeah, Dynasty Warriors has been like it says, 25 years. It's been around since basically most of us started playing video games. And this is, pretty great to see that it's relatively not, like, polluted with wokeism yet, despite how awful number 9 was. That didn't have anything to do with DEI to my knowledge. It was just a bunch of copy-paste stuff from the previous games. Made it boring. Yeah. So, I could be wrong. Those who played number 9, please let us know if we've got it wrong here and it was full of it. I don't remember it, but I didn't play 9 all the way through. I just had a little bit of fun with the environment, and that was that. So, there you go, though. 25 years of that. Pretty amazing.
It's crazy that like this is like the perfect time for Dynasty Warriors to come back too, is for the 25th anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta, oh god, I know some people are like probably thinking maybe they will do like a Gundam DLC.
Well, again, Dynasty Warriors is another one like Soul Calibur and Mortal Kombat that just tosses in the IPs. So like you can really get any kind of menage a trois out of it now, especially with Gundam joining Fortnite and Call of Duty. You really don't know what you're gonna get.
And plus, the Gundam anniversaries are this year too, so it's like, yeah, maybe there will be like a major collab with Dynasty Warriors just for that alone. That would make a lot of sense.
Yep. Well, and you never know, really. Gundam, to me, appears to be trying out the using Call of Duty and Fortnite to try out creating its own arena shooter. They had tried a little bit of that before, I believe, with the previous Gundam game that they just shut down, but that was a little more build your own Gundam, custom. It was a little bit like Breaker. This one's going to be more like you'll choose a skin and you'll deploy into a battlefield, and it'll be like Fortnite and Call of Duty. You'll just respawn until the round ends. That sort of thing.
Yeah, but from what I know, from what I've heard from other Gundam fans, is that and even Spencer has said it too, that they would just rather have like Dynasty Wars Gundam back. If they just brought that back, then they'd be happy.
It might be too easy, to be honest, at this point, to do that. So I'm trying to find the Fortnite Gundam announcement, but I can't at the moment. Oh, there it is. So, wow, that is just a horrible picture. Thanks, Internet. So anyway, this is the very crappy promotional poster for Fortnite's addition to the Gundam franchise. You'll be able to play as Gundam, some type of variant. Looks like a variant of 079 rather, but a little bit of what was the one that had the antenna? F91. A little bit of F91 mixed in there, and then there's like Double X's cockpit, but it's not a jet cockpit. It's just solid metal. And then over here on the Zaku special, I think this is a Zaku 2 special. It's like got all that weird Russian tank pod armor stuff on it. That's what that silver chainmail looking stuff is. What that is intended to do is that in a battlefield scenario, when a rocket hits it, it's intended to sort of like break off the explosive, spread out the concussive force of the explosive. But it's a Gundam. Anything big enough, it's a Zaku. Anything big enough to hurt it isn't going to be persuaded by these suitcase-sized missile deterrent systems. It's a little stupid looking. And then it's got bunny ears. It's got like bunny ears. It's like a Zaku with bunny ears. Like so I'm very threatened by the bunny-eared Zaku. Yeah, it's really weird designs. Like they didn't know what to do with these war machines, and they were trying to make them look threatening, but like also like they belong in a children's game. I don't know. It blows my mind. But here we are in the day and age where you can do Gundam in Fortnite now. It's amazing. But
you can put almost anything in Fortnite now. I hate Fortnite. I want that game to just die already.
Yeah, too bad. It's become the standard for everything, so everything's got a little Fortnite in it now. But you know what isn't got any Fortnite in it, though? Just a little, not yet anyway, is that the AI that's taking over the jobs of these translators. Now, this article went pretty viral, Nerdigans. You want to talk about this?
Yeah, sure. So for those of you that don't know, and I probably should have the article up in front of me, speaking of, so similar to what happened with the Ancient Magus's bride, what was it, at the end of last year? Yeah. Shogakukan announced for their app Novelists that they're going to be using Mantra Company, which is something that Bushiroad uses for Ancient Magus's bride as well, and Shueisha does as well for some of their Manga Plus exclusives, and they use Orange as well, which uses similar technology. Hold on, let me find this. Where did I put it? Here, where is it?
So what we're talking about is that these localizers like Katrina have poisoned the market so much that the Japanese have been forced to turn to machinery in order to actually move through the intended story rather than having references to Fortnite pop up in the middle of a 1990s anime.
Yeah, basically that. And the thing that frustrates me the most about this whole thing, and it happened then and it's happening again here, and it's not just one side doing it, it's both sides doing it, as they're continuing to spread misinformation about the type of AI being used. They keep saying that it's just straight up machine translation, and they're taking it a step further this time, saying that it's just DeepL or Google Translate. And it's like, no, it's not. It's not that. There's a human element there. You're just being intellectually dishonest about that. But yeah, it is a AI human hybrid translation. And actually, when the Ancient Magus' Bride started their AI hybrid localization, I actually showed a couple of pages to a localizer, and they thought it was the official Seven Seas translation, and that's how good it was.
Okay.
So it kind of shows you that, yeah, they haven't looked at any of them before. They have not looked at any of Mantra's localizations. I know that in regards to Mantra's, like earlier on, from what I understand anyway, for Kengan, Daryl Mion saw Mantra's earlier stuff. So that's when it was like starting out. So it was very wonky. So, and that's why he had his editor switch to the fan translations thing. And I love the fan translation team. They're really, really good. I wish more would do that, but no, it's not going to happen, unfortunately. But yeah, like something that's just been a whole thing. It's been happening for a long time now, where localizers have just been attacking fans. I mean, actually, I got attacked by a video game localizer yesterday or the other day for a simple tweet, because I was talking to a Japanese person about, AI localization and what the problem is, and even had like evidence to back it up. And this person said that, fans are the problem. They're just attacking localizers because they think localizers are evil, and all that. And I'm like, you got that out of just that tweet? I didn't say anything about localizers are evil. I'm just saying that the industry, there's a problem where there's no accountability. And the images I had actually were from Jello Apocalypse's post, saying that this is what the industry is allowing them to do. And the other one was of Katrina's post from Inukai, where she admits she deliberately botches localizations. And this person straight up said that that Katrina translates the way she does to fit her style. And I'm like, wait.
That's not how it's done.
No, she basically admitted that she does localizer fan fiction.
Yeah, and people can read minds just from a simple post. Some of these people, though, what you're dealing with in this group environment is that they look down on the Japanese. They believe that their culture is inferior, and so these localizers here in the West decide to recontextualize entire anime, not just scenes, not just one little back and forth, an entire story gets recontextualized in order to fit these people's political worldview. Good or bad, whatever.
Ace Attorney.
Right.
Ace Attorney is the best example. If you want to know like a truly botched localization, go look at Ace Attorney. Look at, I don't know what is going on with Grand Blue Fantasy. I have no idea because that's an in-house localization team. That's a clusterfuck.
Blame HR.
Huh?
Blame HR.
Yeah, that's a HR. Oh God, it's so weird.
And so this is where the Japanese find themselves, is that, as Dirtigans had pointed out, these people were not looking over the shoulder of the localizers that they had licensed this work out to. They had simply trusted them to do their job. And now, thanks to Americans and others like Nerdigans who collect this information and provide it to the mangaka as well as the companies that put it out, they're now growingly pissed off that they're having their work completely changed by these hideous ham planets over here that just have their own agenda and are hell-bent on manifesting it through anything they can get their hands on.
It's just insane. It's insane that these people think this way. And then you have people attacking fans for just sticking up for themselves, for one thing. And then you have there's a company, and for those of you that follow me, you saw this earlier today. Those awesome guys that made a mod tool for fan translators to translate their game into different languages, and localizers are pissed about it because it's like, oh, you're not paying them to do it, it's free labor for you, pay your translators. And they're like, just wanted to give fans the option to translate, and plus for localizers it's $60,000 for them to translate into a different language, to pay for a localizer to do that.
Well, and the thing is that what are we localizing exactly?
I gotta deal with the cat.
Oh, sure. Well, this is my question to you, the audience. Then, just what are we localizing? What are we trying to do here? It's not like Japan's on another planet. It's not like their culture is so foreign to ours. They have cell phones, cars, running water, indoor plumbing. What are we localizing? The translations, as we read them from our Japanese friends in the comments of our YouTube videos, come through pretty clearly. Google's a little shaky, but if you take it over, you copy paste it into ChatGPT and ask for a contextual translation, and you tell it, like, this is in regards to Ubisoft and Assassin's Creed Shadows, the ChatGPT will render a translation that is superior to Google's because it can apply the context of the statements that are inside of the Japanese and thus deliver a more accurate translation as opposed to kanji to English directly, which gets a little confusing. Now, again, Google's come a long way, but ChatGPT seems to be able to add the context necessary to make the sentences clear. And so I'm not seeing the point in a localizer anymore. ChatGPT is there to handle all of it. And again, what are we localizing? They're not from a different planet. Everything that's in an anime still exists in the United States. It just has a Japanesey twist to it.
So this is the localizer I was talking about. This is Sarah Nelkin. This is that attacked me. So this is the tweet that I posted initially. And as you can see, it's not just saying straight up localizers. I was saying that Western publishers are allowing English localizers to not only deliberately mistranslate Japanese media, but also attack fans too, and that fans have documented several localizers doing this. And then this is what Sarah said here, and the person that I was tweeting was Kaida-san. As mentioned above, there are some anime fans who do say that translators are modified. I think it's supposed to be translations, but modified because they are not direct translation. They're evil. But in fact, in most cases, they're pretty good translations. To an extent, she is right, to be fair. If we're talking about manga translations, it's mainly a toxic minority in publisher. It's mainly publishers like at Seven Seas and Viz Media and Square Enix, I would say, are the main problems. The really toxic ones being at Viz and Seven Seas, and also in terms of Anime Sentai Filmworks and Crunchyroll. It's not as bad as it used to be, but yeah. And then she said this. This is where I was like, whoa, hold up. They especially target women.
Oh.
The post above is from I was like, wait, what? This they especially target women, and the post above is from my acquaintance Katrina. Well, one of them is with Jello Apocalypse too, but who has been targeted by this group for some time. She attacks them, like she attacks fans too. Like she starts it half the time, even though she only See, this is what, remember what I said, even though she only translates to match the style of the work, and she has been criticized and personally attacked. we can't change it without the approval of the Japanese publisher anyway. That is not true. What proves that is the whole thing with I think I turned my childhood friend into a girl. That proves that she is full of crap. Because they didn't know. They had no idea that Seven Seas, the localizer there, completely changed Hyura into a trans girl. They had no clue until fans raised a ruckus. No clue. So that is a load of bullshit. And in terms of anime, they had, from what my Aniplex insider said, and I told the Japanese person I was talking to about this, they straight up said that my Aniplex insider said they have no clue what happens when the anime leaves the studio. And I think it's probably the same thing for video games, but I can't say for sure. But I know for anime and manga, they have no clue. But then there's where the sad song here. Yes, that's why the person above is like that. They're translating without permission. It's evil. You are botching the localization. You're doing that without permission. It is kind of evil what you're doing. You're destroying an author's work without their permission. Like what? And putting your fan fiction in there. Hell, you just admitted that Katrina is doing it to fit her own style. That is localizer fan fiction.
It's true. And again, these people most likely came from Archive of Our Own, fanfiction.net, Tumblr. That's most likely where these people got their interest and their chops on like translating Japanese and moving like cultural instances, move back and forth, you know? And I'm talking like Twilight fan fiction writers. When you really get into how these people are going through with their localizations, it really reads like Edward. Right. It really reads like Edward and Bella just having a problem with each other over and over and over again.
It's just it's insane how these people think. I'm like, this can't be real. It's just like a huge what the hell? Why would you say that?
Well, it's because they're proud and they think they're untouchable. Katrina knows that she's deep enough in the machine now that it's going to take an absolute destruction of the industry to get rid of her, which this AI thing has already started.
Well, no, in her situation, here's the difference. She is with 7C's unionized. Mm-hmm. So she is safe for the most part.
But you said she'd worked her way up into other companies already.
Yes, she is also in Sentai Filmworks and she is in Amazon. If we're talking manga, she's not going anywhere anyway because she's in a unionized publisher. The manga industry, as I said, Western manga localization is not that bad compared to video game localization is where the rot is just way too deep. That has to implode. That is the one that needs to implode, period, and like start over. In terms of manga localization, the ones that really need to be held accountable, and that's from, the top, from top to bottom, are Viz Media and 7C's. Square Enix, to an extent as well, from what I've been hearing a little bit more of, with Square Enix localizations, which are like My Dress Up Darling and Yomi no Tsugai. Yomi no Tsugai is almost unreadable because of the different lore changes they did. So I'm close to dropping it, which sucks. But My Dress Up Darling, I read fan translations for it. So I don't know how bad it is for My Dress Up Darling. And Toilet Bound Hanoko-kan and Black Butler are Yen Press. And same with Kakiguri is done by Yen Press. So there's no issues with their localizations. So now, that's the thing.
Bjorn Rad points out a very, very important topic in all of this that I managed to forget is that the localizers are actually doing damage to the anime, manga, and computer games industry by introducing all of this fan fiction that Nerdigans was showing us. By adding in all of this stuff that is not germane to what was originally intended for the product becomes warped and mutated and miscommunicates things constantly.
Oh, yeah. It happens in the Sonic fandom has been affected by it.
Correct. Yeah.
Ace Attorney's been affected by it. I think Persona has been affected by it, if I remember correctly. Just
stop a minute and consider, this isn't a bad thing. Just stop and consider, though, what the world would be like today if Yayo, Don't Give It Up Luffy had become 1,000 episodes long.
Oh god.
Okay? this is the danger of this, okay? Like there's not, as we've learned, there's absolutely nothing wrong with bringing the Japanese music across. I grew up listening to that stuff on CD players that would skip on the school bus every time you hit a pothole. That was like the music of our age group growing up, was this weird Japanimation stuff that was coming through Toonami.
Yeah.
And so there's no problem in this. This brings me back to the point of like, what are we localizing? Apple pie is still apple pie in Japan. They don't call it jelly donuts like Brock. You know, it's you know, what are we doing? That's direct translation should be the only thing we're doing. There is no reason to localize anything in an anime.
No, I mean, like, the thing is, and I just think about what Katrina said a long ass time ago, and it's a tweet that people use sometimes, is how what she says is localizers are not supposed to be teaching weebs Japanese. It's like, but that's what people like reading manga and watching anime for sometimes, is to learn about a different culture. That's what I like. I actually learn a lot about Japanese from reading manga, especially with translation notes, which is something that I wish Viz would utilize more. I get translation notes all the time in like in Manga Plus exclusives, which are, you know, Medibang, and what's the other one? And Media LLC. I get it in Kodansha does it a lot. Yen Press will do it. What's the other one I'm thinking off the top of my head? Magamo will do it. Magamo is a good one too.
Well,
Comic Walker is decent. Comic Walker's readers a pain in the ass, but Katakawa's localizations aren't that bad either. I haven't had issues with them. It's just it's just 7 Seas and Viz that I've had the most problems with. Like, if you want to know where you see like cringe, you see thick. I've seen thick in a freaking official manga localization. That was in Witch Watch. Oh my god! And it was used in the wrong context too. Oh my god, it was so bad. It was so
well, thankfully, people don't have to pay to find out what happened in these localizations, because apparently there's been a Netflix hacking leak that's brought out a few anime into the public that was originally not
a little bit different. ReZero is not associated with Netflix.
Okay.
Let me explain the difference between ReZero and what the other hacks. So remember a while ago, I was talking about with some of the leaks that it's usually in relation to conventions doing early releases. That's what ReZero is.
Okay.
With ReZero, as it says here in the tweet, it's French Japanese Expo. And apparently it got canceled, this particular premiere, or this particular expo, but it still managed to get leaked. This happens all the time with expos. Netflix, on the other hand, where the rest of them we're going to talk about are, that's a whole different can of worms. And this one, from what I'm hearing, from what this person tweeted, is this is Crunchyroll's fault. This has nothing to do with Netflix. The other ones do.
Okay. Well, so this is now the other ones are, because we just the ones you sent me were for RE0, so I have no idea what.
Yeah, the one for the one for ReZero that
the Ranma half.
Yeah, Ranma half is Netflix. This is Netflix.
Okay.
So, right. So the ones that were leaked are all 12 episodes of Ranma half, the first 6 episodes of Dan to Dan, the first Mononoke movie, and all of Terminator 0.
Oh, wow, that one sucks. Oh, that sucks. They worked really hard on that, and now it's out there for everybody for free. Wow. Yeah, I remember when Pokemon couldn't figure out how to explain to American children what the hell rice balls were. Because the children just, what's a rice ball? We can't say rice ball. We're a Christian nation. That was such a weird...
That was really, really bizarre. But yeah, and I posted the stuff that I found on 4chan.
Okay,
that it said what they were saying on 4chan is they're thinking that someone hacked Netflix partner, one of the Netflix partners, CDN, one of their employees. And they have a lot of partners too, because I looked at the website and they have a ton of partners, and it's mostly, from what they're saying, it's they're dubbing partners, and it would explain why the quality of the video is so low and why the subtitles are very meh, from what I've been hearing.
Okay. Now this was the one with the Rama with the pink hair.
Yes.
You were seeing the trailer we saw last week.
The trailer we saw a while ago. Yes.
Right. Okay. And now this one was. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to piece together the timeline. This was one of Netflix's orders, or did the company itself then sell to Netflix after doing this on their own?
This is all licensed out. So Mappa made Netflix. So Mappa made it and then licensed it out to Netflix.
All right, that's okay. So that's probably why this happened, right?
Yeah,
is that it's not an in-house, but that doesn't explain Terminator 0, because Terminator 0 has been an in-house one, like Seven Deadly Sins was. One of the Netflixes they bought up.
From what 4chan was saying is that was Japanese as well, because it's IG. So, and they said there was no English dub. They said it was only Japanese that they had. Or at least the hacker could find.
So what is the message here? What is this hacker trying to get through to us?
That's what I'm trying to figure out too. All of these, from what I saw, is that all of these are Japanese. There was no English dubs. They were all Japanese sub.
So this must be one of those I want it and Netflix has it and I don't want to pay for it situations, rather than sometimes a political stunt.
I have to wonder if these people think that I have to. This is my speculation on this. I would have to look further into it. I wonder if these people think that these anime are in Netflix jail. Terminator is not. I know that. Terminator, everything's getting released at once. Rama is the one I'm not sure if Rama is getting a weekly simulcast like Sakamoto Days is. Dan I know is getting a weekly simulcast from what I understand.
Okay, and so this totally ruins that now.
Well, it's low quality, so it might not ruin it.
If you're one of those people, but
the companies for the partner companies that the 4chan user was talking about, they're all dubbing. Those are dubbing companies. So yeah, from what.
Is this an attack on Netflix? That I'm just trying to wrap my head around the psychology on this, because usually hackers don't just do this. They go out to say something when they do this. So
yeah, that's what everyone's trying to figure out too.
Because again, I get the normal motivation. This costs money. I don't want to do. That's a lot of stuff to go through for Netflix.
Because they can.
Well, this is the thing, is that it's not like Netflix is some wide open platform that you just walk in and take shit off their shelf.
Yeah, that's why the person on 4chan said that, yeah, this is definitely got to be one of their partners, CDNs, and not Netflix themselves.
Yeah, okay. So someone within this company released this, or someone through this company offered a backdoor for the hacker?
That's a possibility too.
I feel like we need Detective Conan to figure this out.
Yeah, we need Conan on this.
I'm just trying to figure out, guys, what the motivation is behind this, because like Anonymous, they hack in order to expose corruption and all this other jazz, or they used to, and our regular the WikiLeaks people, they hack to expose corruption, that sort of thing. So I'm just very curious why they went through all of this to release these Japanese only, well, not Japanese only, but Japanese language only releases. When I guess maybe it's to damage Netflix. If it's out there, then people won't pay for a subscription, at least in the greatest numbers they would have, maybe. And yes, this is the reboot of it that they've put up there, the one with the pink hair. We watched a trailer for it a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, this is the same one, yes. Netflix are already bad since December 2015, like how they almost killed Pretty Cure. Yeah, well, Saban brands really shouldn't be trusted with anything anymore.
No.
But yeah, that's what's going on with the Netflix hack. The stuff's going on out there with the motivation behind this. The police will probably get involved, that kind of thing. But that's just we're just speculating here on what could be possible. Let us know in the chat here, the comments below, in the restream when you watch it later, what you think the motivations of the hacker are. Of course, please be careful with your language. It is YouTube. We don't want you to get banned. But
we'll find out. If we find out, we'll definitely have an update. Like, sure. Obviously, if I find out anything, I'll post it on my Twitter, which is right there. I have people telling me I should make a video on it, but like if I make a video on it, I'm going to make sure I have everything because I don't want to, have misinformation and all that.
It's, and it's not time yet. There's not enough to really go on. All you can really say is that this has happened, and that's all you can really clarify is that an incident has happened. There's nothing really more to talk about yet.
Well, yeah, there's the rumors that the rest of Dan to Dan is going to get released, but based on what I saw on the 4chan, it doesn't, Dan to Dan 4chan, it doesn't sound like that's happening, as far as I know.
Well, and Infern24 says this is my view. Saban ruined Digimon, making it full of comedy. Power Rangers went downhill ever since they got it back from Disney. Well, it's gone now, but yeah.
Well, Tamers, they did a decent job with Tamers.
I don't think they had a choice. Tamers was just so like there wasn't any room to change what was happening on the screen. There's no. The first two, you could recontextualize it all you like. They were out in the middle of nowhere eating apples full of meat. You could do whatever you wanted with that. But Tamers was like, these kids are protecting the world, and this government agency has no clue how to help. And that's. And then there was Beelzebub, and there's no way. There's no way to change what that character's saying. There's no way. He's literally a manifestation of the devil.
Gun or anything.
Exactly. The Tamers, I think they looked at it and they were like, it'll sell a lot, so we just have to take the grumbling we're going to get from the ratings, all right? We're just going to have to do our best.
Yeah, from the government and all that.
Right, and that's the biggest battle that anime faces is the moms of America. It has since it first arrived. The moms of America insist that anime is too intense for children. This is where you hear like the Hasbro brand saying that they have to dumb down Super Sentai in order for American audiences to enjoy it, when we know this isn't the case.
Well, that's what we do with localizers. Think about that. Localizers do this all the time. They dumb it down, and in some cases, they will try to Americanize it, like they did with Dan to Dan. There was a German karate card which was a demon that they were fighting, and they just changed it to like with the literal thing, which was the like a fairy tale card. I was like, why would you do that? Like, just the Spanish localization had it as like the German karate or the Martian karate, and had like a translation note on what it was when it first appeared, and then moved on. It's not that hard to do. Just have what it is and move on.
Well, speaking of things that'll most likely go downhill and in flames, there's going to be a live-action Amazon-produced Voltron. Now, we all know that that's going to stink out loud and heavily, so...
Well, like, if this was, like, maybe a decade or so ago, I'd be like, okay, you could make this work. This could work. But then, now, no.
The problem with Voltron is that it suffers from the original problem we're talking about here. Voltron is a localization back when people weren't having Japanese people involved with that process whatsoever. So they got a bunch of footage where there was a bunch of moon speak, where most of the production team had no good goddamn idea what they were saying. And so they just did their best. They're like, oh, okay, so that's a red lion, and that's a green one, okay. And then there's one that makes the head. Okay, so we'll make that the catchphrase of the guy that's in the black lion. We'll call him, he'll say, I'll form the head, because that's what he does. And then they invented all this stuff to try and contextualize the visual footage. Like, the bad guys in this whole series make no sense. They're just there because, like, the American crew couldn't explain their motivations. So they're just evil for the sake of being evil. There's this whole empire out there that's just a bunch of dicks. That's it. That's all they are.
I know people are just like total localizer death. It's like, no. There's some, I swear, sometimes it's like, yes, I agree with you. But at the same time, it's like, no. Because some of them are sometimes, actually, I should point this out. I actually know fan translators that do get hired by publishers. Besides the ones, besides Kengan, the Kengan translators, but or fan translators. So
this is the most bitter thing about this, is that Voltron has always been comparable to the Power Rangers, given the time frame they came out, and of course the subject matter of a combining robot with multiple colors. And so Dave Hasbro just saying, man, we can't make it work, and Amazon's like, hold my beer. And it's just, I'm to the point now where I'm just disgusted with the effort, honestly. I've never really cared for the Voltron concept. I get it, same thing as Power Rangers. There really shouldn't be any differentiation, but Voltron on its face just insults my intelligence. I can't get through a Voltron episode without just grabbing my face like I can't, that actually happened on screen. I can't believe it. And it's just one of those things where, especially that Netflix adaptation that they did there, Netflix reboot with the gay characters. That was so annoying because, once again, we're not talking about the giant robot and its mission and what everyone's been brought together for. We're talking about all of their interpersonal drama and just how hard it is to be gay.
It's like what we saw with Batman Caped Crusader. It wasn't even about Batman. It was a bait and switch. There was a reason. Now it's like, oh, that's the reason that Zaslav said, fuck that. We are not taking that. Now we know why.
Well, and you got Banner Rat here saying Amazon's going to make a Voltron woke like how they did with Rings of Power, The Boys, and the new Batman animation series.
Well, technically that was supposed to be on Max, but Zaslav's like, nope, and cut it. And now it's like, we look at it now, it's like, damn, Zaslav was right.
Yeah, right. Well, Power Rangers versus Voltron Death Battle, we know who's going to win that one because Power Rangers has checked out. That's right. As you know, we've talked about it here, it's over with. Hasbro's marketing off everything from the franchise in an auction this November. It's gone. Done. So, going to be honest, if people want a real giant robot show, screw Power Rangers or Voltron, watch Gundam or Gurren Lagann. True, but if you're really into it, you're probably going to remember this one. It jogged your memory. It came and went really quick. Megas XLR. I love it to death. It took all the giant robot tropes and just crammed them into one series that makes fun of it left and right, but with heart. So you never feel like they're mad about giant robots. They're just in love with how insane the whole genre is. And I especially love the Megalodius or whatever the giant head that was voiced by Bruce Campbell was, that just plugged into the giant robot body, and then it looked like scale. That was the funniest part. It was like a MODOK character. Oh, it was great. I love. Yeah, chicks dig giant robots. Yes, Megas XLR was awesome. No, we can't.
Oh, something. No. I don't know if you've seen this or not, but something that I've had to deal with over the past few days is people are trying to trans Nokatan because she has antlers, male deer.
Who is this character again?
Nokatan. She's a gag character in my dear friend Nokatan. So they're trying to trans her because the logic is because she has male deer antlers, that means she's trans, and it is like the biggest what the fuck moment. Like, really? And they even put that in the community notes too. I'm like, what are you doing? Don't use community notes like that. No.
This is very much Bowie, isn't it?
Yeah, it very much is.
Yeah. Well, if you don't know, deer are like a celestial kind of creature. They're not necessarily a god creature to the Japanese, but they are mystical in that they have some type of magical luck-bringing property to them. And so when you're, especially with deer, male deer, they have like, I'm emoting into the camera while I have it off. I'm a total genius. So the whole thing with this, though, is that the deer have some type of magical property to them. in the Japanese lore that they bring good luck. They bring fertility to men, especially when you're visited by a deer with antlers. That means you're gonna have a baby boy. So, oh, we have Yellow Flash uses the fake women are desperate to see themselves everywhere.
They
Well,
are!
Katrina.
They so are.
Yep. And
I think it's funny though because there's other characters, like I just think of like Roboco, because Roboco's a gag character too, and Roboco looks very masculine because she's all like beefed up. I'm like thinking, okay, you would think that these that they would try and say that Roboco's trans mask because she's like bulked up. Well, they don't watch me in Roboco. They don't read me in Roboco, so Roboco is safe for now, at least.
So, Beyond Rat asked, do you think this Voltron live action thing is going to be worse than the Cowboy Bebop one? And I'm going to say no.
Nothing's going to be worse than that. There's no way.
And they really went out of their way to destroy that label. And I'm so glad that people got mad enough to seek out the anime to find out if it was true to what they had done to it with the Netflix adaptation. I am so glad that they sought it out, because there are more Cowboy Bebop fans now than there ever have been, and they are true blue ones. They're not I saw it on Netflix, I'm a real fan now. They're not like that. They actually sought it out. They actually sought out the 1990 translation. You want to know why I know this, right? Is because I used to have a playlist saved on my YouTube account that was the full 1990s release of DVD release of Cowboy Bebop that was only released in America, by the way, because it was banned in the US. So it had everything in it, the swears, the titties, the blood, all of it. And it got taken down a year ago, right behind Netflix conceding that they weren't going to make a season 2. So there we go. That told me that everybody sprang on that as soon as they found it. Best kept secrets only last so long, you know? But no, it'll be awful. It will be awful, don't get me wrong, but there's nothing that can be worse than that. It really, and I'm talking like if they rammed Doctor Who and Star Trek together, it is still not going to be as bad as Cowboy Bebop Netflix.
No, nothing will be as bad as that ever.
It really isn't. There's a special ring in hell for that show.
Yes.
So Liam Mason Weintraub, I believe I said that right, Weintraub. I don't read manga. Is the Deer Girl trans, or what's the deal? My understanding is it's just a joke. Exactly, it's just a joke.
It's just a gag character.
Correct. Yeah, and the Gundam Info channel is also great for this. You could check out that. They have a rolling sort of release schedule with stuff. They'll bring stuff up sometimes and then put it away, but it's all Japanese dub. Japanese sub. There is no dub on their channel. They don't. There's a couple of them that have the series that are in English dub, but most of them don't, because they're awful. But yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy what these activists are doing. Like, I thought, you know what I thought was going to happen? I thought they were going to go after Makoto for a little bit harder for Makoto from Senpai Isn't a Tokonoko. But no, like they went after Nakatan instead. I'm just like, I'm shocked by that. I really am. This is like
as you should be.
But this is the calm before the storm, though. That is Rama. Oh God, October is going to be horrible.
Well, and they're going to try for this, you know, and they're going to try.
Tried. I mean, there's the writer at IGN that said that Rama has always been a trans allegory.
That's pretty disgusting. But, you know, again, like like as Yellow Flash pointed out just a few minutes ago, the fake women are desperate to see themselves in everything. So,
well, it's just like the Genshin Impact people are trying to see themselves in everything too.
Yeah, those kids are special in a short bus kind of way.
Oh my God, they are special kind of stupid.
Well, they're trying too hard. As we know with any boycott, it's not going to work if there's no heart in it. And making these characters just obligatory racial stand-ins for the land that Natland is supposedly based on is ridiculous. If you're not familiar with what we're talking about, let me just grab that petition real quick.
These people are delusional. And I just think the funny thing is that Hoyoverse is making more money, and it proves that their boycott is useless.
Yeah. The whitewashing one here. See, they're up to 105,000 signatures on this. But as we pointed out, every time we talk about this, These are kids. These are just young people who are very upset. As you can see, you know, we got Brian down here, the malated person.
Hi, hello. My name is Brian, and as a male person myself,
As a malated person, he's upset about this. We got this guy here. He wants to remind us all of something really important.
Racism's bad.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. And as you can see, they're kids. They're kids, and it's not that children are stupid, okay? Because we don't want to play that game. It's not that they're dumb. It's that the entire environment they've been raised in, whether it be at home or at school or just a general social atmosphere, has told them that everybody from Africa is black, everybody from South America looks like they work at a taco truck and listen to Esperanza music, all right? And that's it. They don't know any other thing. If it doesn't have this like extreme stereotype to it, they're not going to accept it. Whereas when Nerdigans and I, and probably you were growing up, applying those stereotypes was racist. Now the kids don't think it's racist to not apply them.
And that if you don't agree with this boycott, and you're a person of color, it means that you are experiencing internalized racism, apparently.
And as Scooby Doosh points out here, they're still playing the damn game.
Hey, free to play is okay when you're boycotting, apparently.
And all it does is keep the numbers up, keep participation up, and when you go play the game, it keeps an active player base there to participate with. You've not changed the damn thing.
These people are so stupid.
It really is, and there's 105,000 of them out there that are just trying, they're trying real hard to make something happen, but they're not sure. We got RJ McReady here, and he says, we'll be missing tonight, but wanted to send the usual reminder, Ubisoft sucks. Yep,
oh, yeah, and then there's
right
I don't remember if I sent this to you guys or not. I don't think I did, but there's a historian that came out and said that said what you've been saying all along, Cider, about Yasuke being like an entertainer and not a samurai, and mentioned like the scrubbing Yasuke's black skin,
black off of him,
yeah, the rubbing the black off of him, and that they said that Westerners are being really stupid. And they mentioned the sumo stuff too that you mentioned as well.
Yes. Yep. So again, like to remind you guys, like as you know, Yasuke, the samurai in Assassin's Creed Shadows, has had his name stolen. The real guy was in fact a servant. He was held an honorable position for the time, but Nobunaga was a very rich daimyo, regional lord, very rich. So what he liked to do is he liked to shower people who entertained him or made his life easier with a lot of gravitas, give him money, give him purpose, and in reality, they didn't command that. So what we recently found out is that sumo wrestlers under Nobunaga's leadership, and these are just fellas that didn't serve a military purpose to Nobunaga or anything he was up to.
Or feudal lords in general. That's what he was saying. They said like it was feudal lords in general, but they were something else that they were saying though that's very important to note is that. In terms of the biographies for Nobunaga, Nobunatai, I think it is, they said that the one with the passage about Yasuke getting a sword and stuff like that, there's only one surviving copy, and they don't know if it's been manipulated or not. So that could be fake for all we know.
That's troubling.
Yeah.
And again, so what was revealed in this is that Nobunaga gave more money and higher titles as far as like the Sengoku era was considered to these entertainers who were just wrestlers. They did not participate in battles. Sumo wrestlers were not warriors. They're kind of a liability on the battlefield. They're very impressive to look at, but when it comes to dodging things that can stab you, they're a big target.
Yeah.
So it's Nobunaga, we found out, actually rewarded these wrestlers, entertainers with higher social prominence than Yasuke, which doesn't track with him being a legendary samurai that just got forgotten by history. And so once again, Thomas Lockley has his nose rubbed in his very sketchy fetish fantasy that appears to be going around now.
He's still standing by what he said, at least from that one interview.
He's making so much money. People who hate him are buying this book. People who love him are buying this book. People who are just generally curious why everybody's mad is buying this book. So of course he's standing by it. He's making so much money off of it.
I love that more historians are coming out.
Guys, okay, wait, hold on. Time. While we're still here on Tokyo Happy Hour, Nerdigans,
Did you guys, or Nerdigans and Cider, I don't know why I just said her.
I'm not here.
She was the one who gave the original tip. But did you guys talk about the Netflix leaks already?
Yes.
Yeah, we can talk about it.
We can talk about them again.
Well, we don't need to talk about them a bit. I only caught like the last half hour of Tokyo Happy Hour. Did you see that? How much of it leaked, Nerdigans?
Yep.
All of it. Like, that's insanity. The entire first season of Ranma, the entire first season of Dan Dan Dan.
No,
somebody's head.
It's
it's the first 6 episodes. The first 6 episodes of Dan Dan Dan.
So far.
Yeah, so far somebody's like their heads are gonna roll. That's crazy.
Yeah, and then there's the Mononoke movie, the first Mononoke movie, what was the other one? And all of Terminator Zero got leaked.
All of Terminator Zero?
Yep.
That I mean, I'm not even excited about that, but that one makes me like the most like laugh that it got leaked. Who cares about that one?
Apparently, the Japanese did.
It's like that. It's like that meme of Drake sitting with I forget which basketball team it is or whatever, and it's like bro thinks he's part of the team. That's exactly what I feel with Terminator Zero.
Well, that's just it. Is that the Japanese were really excited about this because, as usual, ooh, this is American. This is a Japanese take on an American thing. This is very cool and very fun. And so we ended up with that kind of effect. So as I saw it, because we had people replying in the Assassin's Creed Shadows coverage here, talking about how this was a much more appropriate American influence in Japanese culture, that Terminator Zero had them excited because it was not going to be an American production, it was a Japanese take on it. And now, well, you can get it for free.
So yeah, have fun. I mean, that's the only thing I think would make me interested in it, is that, it's Japanese, because I'm sick of, look, it's like what they did it with Tomb Raider, right? That new Tomb Raider series, Tomb Raider anime, and it's like you gave them slightly like bigger eyes. That's all you did. There's no anime here.
Well, also Tomb Raider, with the Tomb Raider show, Lara Croft is not. She's taking souvenirs. It's not raiding tombs just to raid.
Well, okay, so that whole interview, there's an interview going around about the new series, and a lot of people are trying to like freak out about, they're like Laura's not raiding tombs or any, like, it's this whole thing. But really in the interview, it's not even, I don't know, it's sort of reinforcing what we already know. This is sort of the direction they've been pushing Laura in, she's not a Tomb Raider, she's a Tomb Saver or whatever. So like, to me, it's sort of like, I know a lot of people in our sphere have been going like, look what they're doing to her. And I'm like, that's what they've done to her. Like, she's Lara Croft's a lost cause at this point. I'm not holding out my breath that we're going to get anything good Tomb Raider related for 10 years, maybe when a new generation of people are in charge of all these studios.
No.
But yeah, I'm curious what you think, Spencer, about who's hacking and doing the leaks, because we've been racking our brains on who and the motive. We know that it's probably based on the fact that these are Japanese RAWs and the quality is really crap. That's got to be,
they're like 360p.
I agree with 4chan. I kind of have to agree with the 4chan user. That's got to be one of the business partners that's doing the dubbing. From what I saw, anyway.
It could be somebody doing a dubbing. It could also possibly be a screener copy that was sent to somebody for review. Like, for example, we get those sometimes, or we have gotten them before, and they're intentionally lower quality to avoid situations just like this, but they still find their way out there. So I think that I don't know enough about the cutthroat animation side of the or the business side of the animation industry like you might, Nerdigans. So I don't know if there's any motive to like sabotage here with leak. I think that this is just, considering that it's like you said, Nerdigans, it's all anime, it's all Japanese, and it's all recent stuff. I feel like this is somebody who just got it, like, not getting excited is the wrong term, but somebody who just did it because they could. Just somebody who went, I have it. All right, sure. Why not let it out there? It might have even started as like, oh, hey, like, between two people, like, oh, hey, Nerdigans, I work at Japanese Netflix. Did you know we just got a bunch of this stuff? Hey, if I send this to you, well, you want to watch it, but you got to be quiet. And Nerdigans goes, yeah, of course. And then, oh, hey, I'm gonna send it to Cider too, because I know Cider would like to see it. And then from there, it just rolls out.
This would be so funny if this was one of those things where it's like, okay, so for a year's OnlyFans subscription, I will send you the entire series of Ranma Half. Okay, is that the deal? I hope that's how it turns out. That it's some pervert trying to get some naked pictures, and he just broke into Netflix to get some titties. That's all it was. That would be great.
Boobs drive innovation, so Godspeed.
Hey, we're all here because of them, all right? We're all here 100%. Because of them.
But yeah, no, it's so bad, Nerdigans. Like, yeah, just I had to come on and I've never seen a Netflix leak like this, where it's an entire season of something that is, and like the Ranma thing is. Like, again, I don't know what the whole, like, there might be sabotage, there might not be, I don't know. That's for somebody else more in tune with the industry to talk about. But it's just like from a production company standpoint to go, or just like, oh, hey, we're doing a Ranma reboot. This is a big thing. Come on over. And then, oh, here it is. Like, I don't know, the Ranma one feels particularly like, oof, like a real gut punch for them.
Yeah, but like from what people are saying is because Netflix is such a big company that it would be a lot harder to hack them versus like as what the 4chan has been saying versus like a partner company like a dubbing company which would probably have an easier server to hack.
Yeah, it could be. You know?
Yeah, like at this point, it could be literally anything. It could be somebody got into a server, somebody pulled all the files and leaked them online, somebody sent them to a buddy, somebody had a USB drive and dropped it somewhere. It could be anything. We have no idea. But somebody, considering how heavy Japan is going in on all of this stuff, somebody's going to find out. To do D word. Somebody's going, we're already like an hour into the stream, right? Somebody's going to die. Somebody's going to be executed for this.
There'll be some Sudoku. All right. Yeah.
Oh yes, there will have to be some Sudoku.
But I still want it to be about some kind of pervert doing this. Of course
it's gonna be. I can guarantee that right now that there's perversion in this. That's what drives all anime.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, that would be great if there was some guy that worked for this company, and then he would to get like this OnlyFans subscription. He went and did all this. Oh man!
What if it was really Deadpool, and he came in with this truck?
Sure, Ryan Reynolds did it all. Yeah, I believe it. Ryan Reynolds is out there hacking Netflix, releasing Ranma.
Hey, it'd be perfect. It'd be perfect because Deadpool came back in manga form too. That was such an amazing troll. Oh my god, that was such an epic troll.
If I was the mangaka behind the Deadpool manga right now, I would absolutely be leaning into this Netflix hack and having Deadpool trying to find who did it and finding some disgusting pervert that did it, and then be like, nah, you know what? I'm not even mad now. I'm not even mad. I get it.
Dude, everyone lost their minds. Even Hosono, the editor-in-chief of now Manga Plus, but former editor-in-chief of Jump Plus, he's like, he had no idea.
Okay. So for those of you who don't know what Nerdigans is talking about, or what we are talking about here, rather, so for the last couple of weeks, there has been a new series being promoted for Weekly Shonen Jump over in Japan.
Not just Weekly Shonen Jump, it's Jump Plus.
Oh yeah, for Jump Plus, for the app, for the online or for the mobile reader app. And it was from the team behind the really good manga Deadpool Samurai. If you guys haven't read that yet, I highly recommend reading it. It is really good, just top to bottom. If you're a manga fan, if you're a Marvel fan, all that fun stuff. But they were advertising, here's a new slice of life isekai anime that's coming from the Deadpool Samurai creators, and they had a full campaign going for it, advertisements, big color illustration pages, and the first chapter releases today, and 2 pages in, the main character gets hit by a giant truck being driven by Deadpool, and it was just a long, elaborate Deadpool Samurai volume, or not volume, but just continuation announcement. I thought it was pretty entertaining.
It was so epic. It was a rom-com. It looked like it was just going to be a cute little rom-com. And then it turned out the guy was like this monster, and he was going to eat the girl. And it turns out that this particular monster was the guy that killed, or the monster that killed the daughter of Deadpool's client. And it was just, it was so good. So good.
Hey, Nerdigans, are you still reading Kengan Ashura?
Oh, it's Kengan Omega.
Oh, well, because Warren Perkins here says next week's chapter is going to be badass. I'm wondering, do you know what he's talking about?
So is. Oh my god. Okay. So I'm so glad that normies don't read Kengan, because what they're doing in Kengan Omega is they are using a Israeli martial arts style. Oh my god, what is it called? It's gonna drive
Krav Maga.
Wait, what?
I think that's Krav Maga. Krav Maga. I think that's
Krav Maga. Yes, Krav Maga.
That's the Israeli one.
That's the it's the Mossad style, which is the Israeli intelligence, basically the
IDF. Yeah,
not IDF. It's the equivalent of like this FBI, CIA kind of thing. But yeah, it was. I saw that, I lost my mind. I was so hyped. Kengan Omega is at 272 this week, not 232. It's 272.
Well, and as you pointed,
it's so good. This fight is epic.
As you pointed out, Nerdigans, he is saying on the Viz app here, as you pointed out, and he's supposed to be saying the Jump app. So
here, let me pull up the Japanese version.
This is going to get an anime. There's no way it doesn't. It's definitely going to be.
It hasn't gotten an anime yet.
Oh, I just don't think it has enough material yet. That's the problem. That's probably why they're doing this, is so they have material to draw from. You got to remember,
you have enough material maybe for like a single OVA of maybe 30 minutes right now from the first Deadpool Samurai.
And so you got to remember, the anime is the price suck for them, that they make all their money on the manga sales. So they have to have enough to pull from so that people will be incentivized to go get the manga.
They also, I bet we're also going to see a lot of introduction in this next, it's not chapter, the next continuation of Deadpool Samurai. I bet we'll see a lot more original characters. Like in the first volume, we got the spider waifu.
Spider.
Then you had the J-pop idol, Venom symbiote, like that was their character. I think you're gonna see a lot more of those characters. I think you're gonna see a lot more of those because, to your point, Cider, an anime is the money sink and they make a lot of money back on the manga, but they also make a lot of money back on El Merchandiso, right? So they need like figures, they need posters, they need all that. So they don't want to just do, have a Deadpool poster, because that's, that also kind of just goes right back to Marvel and is just another Marvel character. So introduce your manga versions of them all, and now we'll get figure arts next year or something. That's kind of what I think is going to happen.
Well, something I would like to see is, in terms of Deadpool Samurai Season 2, is because we have Sakura Spider in Spider-Man Octopus Girl, so multiverse is proven here. I'd like to see a crossover. I'd love to see across the company. I'd like to see that integrated into Deadpool Samurai. I think that would be sick. I'd love to see Doc Ock there too. That would be freaking awesome.
One thing I wanted to mention about this is that Spencer pointed it out. They have their merchandising and they're adding their original characters. Now we ask ourselves, Marvel has so many characters. Why do they feel the need to make more? Because this makes it a property. Well, no, this makes it a property of the Japanese corporation, not a licensed Marvel story that they're interpreting into manga. Therefore, by creating their own characters, much like the Spider-Man tokusatsu from the 70s, it is not something that is wholly owned by the Marvel and Disney Corporation, thereby allowing them to tell their own story inside of it. And that's why you're seeing things like Deadpool hitting a kid with a semi, I guess, like in Japan, a semi, but it's Deadpool.
And then as we see in the color spread that I post, that we have here, look at that. That's just art.
Sure, it reminds me a lot of One Punch Man, and this is why I say it'll get an anime, because it's going to go the same route. And this, you remember that it'll probably do the Bobo thing, because you see here where Deadpool's changing body proportion, where he goes from a chibi thing into like a full express, anatomically correct character. They'll probably do that because, again, the character's so random that he can do anything like a Bobobo character, and they're hard up for that after that Dear Girl has demonstrated the need for more insanity in their stories. So
I mean, there's a lot I feel, and there again, you can probably talk to this, and you might have even mentioned it before I got on, but I think there in recent years, I feel like there's been a really distinct lack of exclusively gag anime stuff. I mean, we got like Roboco, right? But then outside of Roboco,
Chojo coming. Well, we have Chojo now, and then we have Yokai Butsu and Murakami.
Yeah, but see, like those are all either coming or just started. So I feel like these last couple years, it's been a lot of shonen stuff, a lot of isekai stuff, and now we're finally getting back to gag stuff, and I'm kind of happy for it. I don't remember I've watched the first couple episodes of the Dear Girl show, and they're genuinely funny. Like I actually laugh to myself. And I feel like I haven't gotten that out of an anime in a long time. So I'm really happy about that.
Yeah. Well, and we've already seen All Might and Deadpool team up, so there's also this being a possibility within there as well, because as we know, Horikoshi is a fan of Marvel, as I explained earlier, so you're going to see something like that. You can tell
Horikoshi is a fan of Marvel and a particular fan of Spider-Man, because My Hero Academia ended with their main character being a freaking loser and having a minimum wage job and watching everybody else be better than him.
And his main powers that he used at the end revolved the Black Whip, which was basically Spider-Man.
Yeah, it was basically webs. That as soon as he got the whips, I was like, oh yeah, those are just webs.
I talked about it at the beginning that I don't consider Horikoshi particularly creative. He took a look at Marvel, he took a look at Superman, and he said, I have an idea. What if Superman and Spider-Man stayed friends like they were in the 70s? And that's basically My Hero Academia's. What if the X-Men, Spider-Man, and Superman were all in one place and they were trying to get along? And
he's just a better writer, let's be real.
Well, it's true, but again, Horikoshi's strength is in horror, and he applied that to its maximum in My Hero Academia, and that's why it's so unique. I have to give him credit there that he didn't default into the happy moral at the end storytelling. Deku is fucked up. The kid has a robot arm. He has a horrible body for like a 25-year-old, okay? He's absolutely obliterated as a human being. And so there's really not a happy... He doesn't even get a wife at the end. He proposes to Ochaku, and then they cut it off. They're like, psych! He doesn't even get Mary Jane at the end. Ha-ha! And Horikoshi did everything Marvel does. And that's what drives me nuts about the whole thing.
At the end. Let's be real.
We don't even know who Deku's dad is.
I was so mad about that. I was like, what? I was already mad about the epilogue. The epilogue was just a total clusterfuck because there was so much more I wanted to see. Like, with Stain, as I said earlier, I would have loved to see like up to Toya's death. I would have loved to have that moment, that connection.
Nerdigans, let me ask you something. I have a really, this has been sort of bugging me all day because of, I've been thinking about My Hero Academia, and I've been wondering, why is it that it seems like more manga than maybe, more than American comic books, it seems, tend to fumble their landing so hard. Like, I feel like every other month I'm reading about a new series that ends and its ending is just really bad. Now, my theory is that, my theory here is that in American comics, your arcs at best last for 12 issues, maybe if you're lucky, right? Your one story arcs. Yeah, 6 usually, 12 if you're super lucky. And that's a long time, but that's maybe a year at best. And then it's, through 1 year, it's one and done, and then the story is over. So you can go, wow, that sucked. But then with manga, it's like, oh, I spent 40 years invested, or like whatever, 16 years reading this. Sure. Yeah. And then, maybe it was just built up too much in our heads. Maybe the mangakas like lose it. What do you think, Nerdigans?
Well, like in the case of, let me give a good example here. Hoseki no Kuni managed to stick the landing.
Yes.
Hoseki no Kuni's ending.
I was about to get so mad at you for a second there because I thought you were going to use that as a bad one, and I was like, I'm going to yell at you.
I'm going to use a good example of an ending. Hoseki no Kuni, the way it ended, where you saw like after all the shit that Fos went through, how he finally got like that freedom. And it was just, and then that epilogue, like at first I was thinking that epilogue was unnecessary. You could have just had it end where Fos just like died. But then we got the epilogue and we saw everyone dancing in the sky and watched like Fos's shard watching them dance in the sky, like that just made it extremely poetic. And that was a beautiful way to end it. Abstract, yes, but that's what this manga is. It's very, very abstract. But a bad way to end the manga is Naragami, where you don't resolve anything and you just add like this random crap at the end of it. I'm like,
well, it's not like the anime is any better. Like, you remember Big O?
No.
Big O had like this bizarre, esoteric kind of like existential crisis of an ending that even then didn't explain what the hell happened. It just reset everything and tried to play that off as like,
yeah, exactly.
I'm so cool, guys. I'm not going to give you an answer. You can make it up yourself.
Well, there's also like the open ending stuff, like with there's open ending with Shonen no Abyss, but the thing is with Shonen no Abyss, though, well, there's going to be extra content, thank God. But Shonen no Abyss, you can actually make up for it and like redeem it with one chapter. I just need to see. I'm spoiling it. Deal with it. I just need to see as Mori and Yuko, who are like the parents or the main character's parents, just go to the Lover's Abyss, and I'm happy, and that will be the perfect ending. And that's good. I only need one chapter for it, and then the ending is good.
AFE and HD, Big O is a fantastic show. Don't get me wrong. Absolutely adore it. I think about it almost every day, okay? I listen to the music just about every week, all right? Fantastic show. The problem is that ending, those last 2 episodes, just pry open your brain and just spit into the center of it. It's just...
You know, it's a good series that does that's fine to do an open ending with. Is Gintama, and it managed to stick the landing for it. That was probably one of the best endings.
You know what can't ever end? One Piece. There's no way the treasure that they find is ever going to live up to what it has been built up to be. A man died on his feet talking about it. It'll never be that good.
The only thing that, because I agree with you, Cider, I think no matter what the hell the One Piece is, it's going to be like, oh, that was it. And that's, I get it. It's been hyped up. But I do not, that's the only thing. I do not think it's going to be something stupid and abstract. I think as long as it's something, an actual treasure, that's fine. Hell yeah. Another Frankie mech, do it. But as long as they find like something physical and go like, look, I have the One Piece. I am holding the One Piece. I think that's probably the best we can hope for. If it does end, and I feel like Oda said it's not going to end that way, but if it does end with power of friendship, I might riot. I might
not going to end that way. No way.
I might have a mostly peaceful protest.
Really? I don't.
If that's how it ends.
You wouldn't be alone. I'm pretty sure the whole nation, the whole world would be like, you, Oda, we want his head now. You know, it's just... But what are you going to do? You can't make it a treasure that's a physical
and he would run over and go, save me, Noruboki or Norowaki.
Right. Well, this
You know what? Final Arc is actually doing well, and I know it's going to surprise probably a lot of people, is Fairy Tail 100 Years Quest. Oh my God, what we're getting in that manga is just incredible. We got a new war. We found out the twist to the 100 Years Quest. That Igneous, I'm spoiling it, you have to deal with it. That Igneous set everything up. I'm not going to tell you the way he set everything up. The way Igneous set everything up from the very start just is mind-blowing. Oh my God. And now we have a dark wizard who has Agnologia's arm attached to her. And is now basically Agnologia's will. And now we have like a 3-way war. And according to the rumors, from what I'm hearing, is that Natsu is going to get a major ass whooping and he has to carry the weight of his defeat. So Mashima is listening to the fans and is redeeming that shit arc that was the previous arc. Because now all the god dragons are at full power. They were not at full power for this entire time. So everyone in the fandom is losing it right now because of this.
Back on One Piece, Infern is mentioning this, like the One Piece will give the pirates power to control the world. Well, what is Gear 5? Can you find me right now? He's defeated a god dragon. Who's supposed to stand up to that now?
I am of the opinion that Gear 5 is the legitimate strongest form in all of fiction.
Where does he go from there?
You can't beat it. You cannot beat Bugs Bunny.
Well,
Like that's just it. We saw Roger Rabbit, right? Like you punch a cartoon, it doesn't do anything.
Right.
Well, remember what we if you're up to date with One Piece, you know what we saw with Joy Boy's power from the Iron Giant. Like there is that's going to be Luffy's like full power.
Well, again, like that's what I'm saying is that if there's nothing they can find right now that presents any greater value to them than what Gear 5 and what they already have individually built up as their own power. The thing you're going to find, the best they could possibly do, and again, we don't even know the limit of Gear 5 yet, but
no,
what the best they could possibly do is give Luffy the ability to time travel like a god and change history.
No.
But he rejects it.
But
he rejects it. That's the only thing they could come up with, though, because it's the only god power left that he doesn't have. It's time travel.
I don't think you need like a power. I don't think it's like we find the One Piece and it's now I'm the most strong being. I think it's like a hidden piece of the old history where they find it and it's like, this is how the world was supposed to be before the world government and the celestial dragons tried to take over. That's what I think it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be
like a Plaza's box.
Yes, exactly. It's exactly what I was thinking of. I just could not remember the name because Laplace's is such a dumb name and I hate it every time.
Oh, I just remembered another bad ending that. Well,
no, wait, but hold on, Nerdigans, hold on. So we've talked good and bad endings, but back to my question, like, why do you think it is that we get so many fumbled endings in manga?
I think it's because the mangaka are burnt out.
Yeah,
I think that's probably it. Depending on how long the series is gone,
that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Well, and here's the other thing. Well, I just want to say is that in manga, they're never supposed to stop producing. If it sells, it's supposed to keep going. It's why we have Dragon Ball so many years later. It's why Bleach is back. It's why Slam Dunk and all these other ones are back. It's because
to be fair with Bleach,
they sell.
To be fair with Bleach, though, Bleach is finishing up the story that Kubo never got to finish telling
because the audience wanted it.
Well,
but that's the thing too, Nerdigans, is like if Bleach wasn't a big popular thing, they wouldn't have come back for 1,000-Year Blood War. You're right. Like it is what Kubo wanted to finish, but it's like, nobody wants that. We're not going to fund money for that. Give us another season of, I don't even know what is dumb anymore. I don't know. Well, you finished that joke, Nerdigans.
DZ3 Slam Dunk is back and it's chart topping. It's competing with Hyaku and Blue Lock and One Piece.
Of Slam
it's up there in the top 10. Last I checked, it was in the top 10 manga releases. So again, like it's back. There's another one that just got resurrected too. That was right out of nowhere, and I can't.
I know why Slam Dunk got resurrected like this. It's because of the first Slam Dunk doing so well, and that's because Inwa directed it.
There's also a huge push from the government in Japan to like remind people to work out, be active, get out of their house. They're very petrified of the hikikomori that keeps spreading. This shut-in thing that keeps happening. So they keep making anime about like Onagai Muscle. You got Blue Lock. You've got Hyaku. You've got so many other ones out there too. I just can't remember off the top of my head. The Prince of Tennis is back again. So you've got these ones that are coming out that remind people like you don't have to have superpowers. You just go out and play a sport. You could do that. Well,
it's why Bungo is so popular in Japan too. Oh my god! If you like baseball, go read. But even if you don't like baseball, Bungo is so
yes, there it is. The man himself, the savior of President Trump.
This is what they need right now.
They do.
It's true.
I mean, that's why that was the thing that kind of really stunned me. Obviously, we had the Nerdigans article from earlier this week about the AI localizations and all that stuff from the light novels, which I'm sure it will probably delve into. But the thing I just wanted to touch upon was the reason they said that they were expanding, that Shogakukan said that they were expanding over into, they wanted to start AI localizing everything is because they straight up admitted like our birth rate crisis means that we don't have markets anymore. Like Japan doesn't have a market to look at for youth anymore. They have to go expand out into other territories because there's just no customers being born. There are no kids. There are
literally.
Yeah, quite literally. It's crazy.
Well, and this is the fun part. if we get AI direct translated, then it's going to be saturated with sexual messaging, which means our demographic problem probably won't be a problem much longer. And that I'm just saying, like, because they everything has it. This is an edict from the government. They spend $6 billion US dollars on a year, so we're gonna get it. We're gonna get, and I hope so, and I really do, because it defeats the narrative that we get from the school system that says everything's gonna be overpopulated, despite the middle of the U.S. being darker than North Korea. So it's just
well, it's gonna be overpopulated just by not Americans.
Yeah, right. Invaders. But well, we've probably reached the end of this conversation. Jacob's going to be here in 20 minutes to yell at us for not starting 0-1, so we might as well get it off the ground. How about that?
Let's do it.
All right, then. We'll see you on the other side, guys. Here comes another intro.
Every step I take, reclaiming what's my right. Believe in me, I'll fight forever. Believe in me, I know it's all I need to break through to our destiny. To our destiny. Believe in me, I'll fight forever. Believe in me, I know it's all I need to break through to our destiny.
Guys, Warner Brothers is absolutely cooked. It's like actually done this time.
Apparently, if you want accurate translations, you're a right-wing grifter. Who knew that would be happening in 2024?
No, I don't really have an intro. It's just been a really disappointing day, honestly. Disney made a profit, and I'm just so depressed about it, really.
Yeah, Disney made a slight profit, but yeah, Warner Brothers, it is actually like over for them. They literally admitted that their TV networks, everything that they bought, worth less than 10 billion than they thought. Yeah, folks, today was the earnings call season, or it's at least starting. We had Warner Brothers, we had Disney, we have a couple more trickling out over the next week and a half. So far it looks like it's a bloodbath. At least Warner Brothers Discovery was the big one. They basically admitted that we have been taking hit after hit after hit. They lost the NBA deal. I don't know if you guys remember that from a couple weeks ago. The NBA decided to move on and I think partner with who was it? I believe ESPN for the next season. Ooh. Yeah, so they lost that big deal. The operating income from their video game segment took a drastic hit.
I wonder why.
Yeah, thanks to Suicide Squad. That'll be the first article I throw up as soon as we are done here tonight. All of that combined with all the networks that they bought. So that's things like Discovery Channel, right? TNT, all of these channels worth less than 10 billion than they actually thought. Imagine right now having 10, I don't even know if we can even use that amount of money, because I don't think anybody here has ever even seen that. I've never heard of a double-digit billion in any of these conversations we've ever had on in any of these entertainment spheres, right? 2 billion, 3 billion, sure. 10 billion? Absolutely just bonkers. Imagine if you went to bed tonight and you went, I have $3,000 in my bank account. That is sick. I know it's worth $3,000. That's what it all says. We're all good. You go to bed, you wake up tomorrow, you go to the bank, you say, hey, can I get 1,000 of that? And they go, actually, we just reviewed all your numbers and you don't have any of that. In fact, you owe us like $7,000. Like that's essentially what happened to Warner. I mean, not that surprising because they saw it all coming because they have bookworms and all that. But man, it is. We are seeing like I really wish Jacob was here because I know he's going to have thoughts on this, which is like everything is getting consolidated. Everything. Yeah, we can't absolutely stall. I'm sitting over here just sort of like I'm stunned. I feel like I need a fainting couch. I need a fan. I'm just like, I don't know how that happened. Yes, it's happening. It's happening. And then
I just have to wonder. No, I have to wonder if Warner Brothers would have released more physical media of some of their shows that people have been asking for, if they would not be in this hole. Because there's tons of shows in their vault that people have been saying they want physical releases of. Tons. And they still haven't done it.
I mean, I'm pretty sure most of the Arrowverse isn't collected yet on Blu-ray. I know you have like some Arrows, some Flashes, and I think a season or two of Supergirl, but I think there's a lot of that hasn't been collected yet. And it's like, well, that seems like that would have been a moneymaker for you. But we know that Warner Brothers, dang it, Nerdigans, don't get us into this. We'll wait for Jacob. We'll wait for Jacob to talk about Warner Brothers. Yeah. As for Disney, in case you guys didn't see, yes, Disney did turn a profit for the first time in a long time. Their streaming profit, they finally got a profit off of that. However, the interesting thing to note about that is that while Disney finally, in their entire history of streaming operations, finally turned a streaming profit, it was not because of Hulu and it was not because of Disney Plus. It was because of ESPN. All the subscriptions that have been going to ESPN Plus with the recent like NBA deals, and I think they have a deal with the MLB and stuff, that those people are all rushing over because you can get it there. Nobody's signing up to go watch The Acolyte. Nobody is signing up to go watch. I don't even know what the hell is on Hulu anymore. I feel like that's where right. I feel like that's just where they dump all the pilot seasons that don't go anywhere. But yeah, the Disney so Walt Disney is like they deserve, credit where credit is due. They got a streaming win that we can't really dance around that, but Disney Plus is still not working out for them. And with what they continue to produce and what we are seeing come down the line, this is probably going to be, I'm guessing for at least the next 5 years, this is like a sunk cost thing. Like we have to put something on Disney Plus because it exists, even though we know it's not going to make us money. Like what do we have Agatha and we have Bad Batch, that really awful looking Star Wars show that I don't think anybody even knows is coming. Oh, that's what it is. Skeleton Crew. Yeah. Which is like, who cares?
But isn't there like a ton of Toon Disney and like what was the other one?
Well,
Saturday morning Disney shows that are not on Disney Plus yet?
Well, no, that's the thing is that mainly, I got a moth on my hand. That was weird. But mainly it's Maine. They find their way in.
I know.
The whole thing with the Disney Plus is that they're surviving, not because of Agatha, not because of Loki, not because of Winter Soldier and Falcon, or Falcon and wherever it goes. It's not because of that. It's because they have the Disney movies on there. It's because they have Aladdin on there. It's because they have Hercules on there. It's because they have those Disney shows that were made out of those properties on there. That's why the Disney Plus even exists at the moment, and they haven't shut it down, is because the previous programming before the Bobs took over, back when Eisner was running it, that's most of the programming that populates it, that keeps it running. Like, I think That's So Raven is on there, too. All of the Miley Cyrus BS is on there. The Disney Channel original movies are on there, like that. Oh, I think Halloween Town is on there, too.
Yeah, I've heard there's still some Toon Disney shows that are not on there that people have been bitching about. I just can't remember which ones off the top.
There are sporadic like Disney related productions that aren't on there, and that's all rights issues. Remember, like the Spider-Man movies weren't on there for a little bit because of the whole Sony thing. So like that happens over there. But I think the main draw of Disney Plus is come watch all of our old movies, but sort of here that I guess sort of leads to where they are right now, where it's like, if that's the case, if you know that everybody is coming to watch sort of all of your classics or the things you put out into theaters, why are you spending so much money trying to get original programming going? Like, I could understand maybe a Marvel show or two, but again, Acolyte cost 180 million, like, per episode, like, or not per episode, like together. I don't know how you do that and think, oh yes, we are going to turn a profit. By the way, like I reported on this 2 weeks ago, after the third episode of the Acolyte aired, like when episode 4 aired, off the Nielsen top 10 streaming charts, just completely gone. And we are on we got the numbers for I think week 6 this week, or it's coming up. It's nowhere to be found. Nobody watched this stuff, or like nobody cared about the Acolyte. And I think that sort of just speaks volumes to where Disney is sort of mismanaging itself, what's going on. It's just, it's not working. The Disney Plus brand isn't like HBO. You know, like I hear about an HBO show and I go, ooh, I should go check that show out. It's an HBO show. Oh, do you guys have HBO? Do you have HBO Max? Can we watch whatever? I don't get that same feeling for Disney Plus. It's just sort of like, oh yeah, this is on there now. We could watch it. Sure, just put it on. It's something to have in the background.
It used to be like that when the Mandalorian, it was just a Mandalorian, but
and like I think the Mando, I think that sort of made sense. You have your premier streaming service, you throw one or two big event things on there, right? You have your Mandalorian, maybe you do like WandaVision was the first Marvel show.
Yeah, WandaVision had everyone going nuts.
Yeah, right. And then like I might even say you can have Falcon and Winter Soldier as a treat. You know what, guys? Up to that point, MCU was doing pretty well. You can have 2 shows as a treat. And so, but then that like severely reduces the budget, and it gives people a reason to sort of tune in. One of the, I think for those of you out there who watch Red Letter Media, they put together a video last month, I believe, where they talked about why are movie theaters dying? Why is the industry changing? Yada, yada. And one of their big points was movies are no longer events, right? Yeah. Back when we were younger, it would be like, oh man, Cider, Nerdigans, did you see Iron Man? And it's like, no, I didn't see Iron Man. It's like, you have to go see it. Everybody's talking about it. Like, you're not going to be able to talk about this for a couple months. It's a hit. You've got to go. And it was a big thing. And you would go like, I'm going out to the movies tonight. Like, I'm spending a ticket. I'm spending my time. And it was something you went and did. And it was an experience. Now, movies are more products than anything else. You don't have that same sense of urge to rush out and grab a product. You'll go, oh, I'll wait for that product to go on sale. I'll wait for it to hit Disney Plus or whatever. And because of that, people don't care anymore. Go ahead, Cider. Yeah.
Well, check out the price point on this.
And that too, yes.
To your point, here's $30 a month where you're going to pay just about that for a single adult ticket and refreshments going to the theater. So, and that's just for one movie where you get access to this. And in 2 months after the movie's in the theater, it finds its way onto the Plus, or sooner if you're Furiosa. So the whole thing is screwed, because they're right to a point that people don't go to the movie theater anymore, but they're wrong to a point in that when it's a family-friendly entertainment, people will go. When it's an entertainment property like Deadpool that sort of invites a communal watching, like you're not embarrassed to be watching this around your friends. Like, I don't know, I'd be embarrassed to see Ant-Man. I wouldn't be embarrassed to be found seeing Ant-Man. I would not be embarrassed to be seen watching Deadpool. Do you see the difference? This sort of thing. The atmosphere is entirely different. I would be embarrassed to see that Hot and Cold movie where they had the fire and the water that fell in love. I would not be embarrassed to be seeing Inside Out 2, you know, or 3, or whatever it is. And that it's the atmosphere involved with these movies. One is made for families, the other one is made for adult children. and that's really the biggest problem, is you're not going to get people. To explain this a little easier with a metaphor, is Deadpool is like a beer, whereas your Ant-Man 3 is like a wine cooler. You don't want to be seen in public drinking a wine cooler. You're cool drinking a beer, right? And that's kind of the atmosphere you have with these movies. You don't want to be seen seeing it. You wait for them to come out. If you're curious, you wait for them to come to streaming. And that's what happens.
The best way to the best analogy for it would be, for one, would be for Ant-Man, it'd be drinking a Budweiser, or a Deadpool, it'd be like drinking a Stella Artois. One you would want to be seen drinking with because it's piss beer. The other one, it's high class.
There you go. Yeah. And that, again, that's where we're at with this, is that finally they've put out a product that the public and critics agree has like an actual selling point to it with that Deadpool movie. Now, they'll probably take the wrong lessons from it and be like, oh, we need to put more gay jokes and everything.
1000% will take every wrong lesson from this movie. I am so excited for whatever comes next, because I'm just like, Doomsday is going to be a mess of just like, oh, they liked the multiverse, they liked the TVA, they liked all the joke, throw it all in there, and it's like, you guys missed it. You guys missed it.
All the jokes, all the time, never gonna stop. But that's the problem again, is that they don't know what they're doing, and that is chiefly what Disney Plus is. And I say this every time we talk about this, okay? I say this every time we talk about this. They would have been better going to Netflix and saying, we want our own drop-down tab. We want the Disney tab on Netflix that has
100%.
all of our program categorized separate from the Netflix catalog. That's all we want. We'll pay whatever you like to have it. And this would have solved a little
subsection, yeah.
Exactly. This would have solved everything. Well, again, that would have solved everything, though, is that they've gone out and created this new platform that requires all this new branding, a new staff, all the hardware, the storage. Like, servers are massively expensive. They are quite literally a money-burning operation to have a server farm. And you have to in order to have any type of website that experiences any kind of traffic. And again, like we heard about this earlier from Chris Gore, that one of the lessons they took from Deadpool was just to fire everybody. But we don't know yet.
Genius.
We don't know yet if that actually has happened. Chris was the one that brought us the accurate descriptions of what happened in The Acolyte, so we tend to believe what he tells us is coming out of Disney's productions. But it is a rumor at this state that Marvel Studios fired all of their producers that could be mixed up as activists.
You were right the first time, the producers.
Producers.
Oh, even better.
Yeah, right. We're just upping the ante here. Now it's a license plate. But Lucasfilm doubling. Yeah, I imagine there's somebody in Hollywood that has that. The producer. That's their license plate.
1,000%. 1,000%. And he thinks it's ironic, but it is not.
Exactly. People just read it as a pro-doucher. That's all they read it as. They read it wrong.
Are you a gynecologist? Nice to meet you.
Yeah, hey, cool job, man. But doubling down on the nonsense, which is Lucasfilm, in that they are not giving up the goose. Now, I can't confirm this. I heard this a little earlier on Geeks and Gamers, that Kathleen Kennedy is stating that she wants to leave, as she herself is stating that her tenure will be coming to an end.
There's the door. Go.
No confirmation.
At this point, I can believe that Kathleen Kennedy might want to leave. She's obviously not had a good track record at Lucasfilm.
She's
clearly
old.
She's old, and like, if we're being honest and being sort of a little charitable to her, geek movie Star Wars stuff, this isn't what her bread and butter was. This was not the area where she wasn't a nerd movie producer. She was just a sort of all general movie producer. So I think it was a complete mismatch for her. The problem is, at this point, after all these years of everybody and their mother going, this is the time, she's going, and like, oh, it's over now. At this point, it's kind of like with like Half-Life 3, right? I'm only gonna believe it once it happens. Like, the day I see the headline.
Dynasty Warriors too, or you didn't believe. I think you were thinking that with Dynasty Warriors too, and that.
And you know what, Nerdigans? I didn't report on any of those rumors until you gave me the confirmation that, oh yeah, look, it's actually happening, because I didn't believe it. I'll take the L on that one, but I will admit I didn't believe it.
Well, we do have a $2 super chat here from member of the channel, Pinochet Helicopter Tours. Kennedy won't leave until fans' morale improves. Well, I mean, that's no happiness for you, right? She's the happiness Nazi instead of the soup Nazi.
No, but, I kind of agree with him. They're not going to let her go. Or I feel like either she won't go or they won't let her go on a low point, right? I feel like they're going to keep forcing, like they're going to keep her on, and they're going to keep pumping crap out of us. Do they think this is a low point, though? We got to ask ourselves. We see it as it, but do they? I think after the Acolyte, I think this is one of those moments where they have to admit something's wrong, even if they don't admit the complete depths of it. You know what I mean? Like, there's just no way to avoid the fact that nobody's talking about the Acolyte. We're only a month out of it. It is gone from the discourse. There's nobody even in our sphere is even making fun of it. I haven't even seen long reviews of it or YouTube poops of it. Like, it's just gone. It's just out of memory.
Well, and here's to that point, though, is that I believe it was one of the Friday Night Tights group that brought this up. They don't have a choice. They have to make a season 2. If they don't, they concede that Jeremy and Nerdrotic and all of these guys that were picking it apart, that they complained were review bombing, won. That the Chuds won with their review bombing. So they have to do a season 2. But season 2 is going to be even worse because they tied up the story. It makes no sense going forward, but they closed the story. So going forward, they have to do something even more egregious to the plot, to the lore, to the history, in order to develop this any further, which will bring the Star Wars brand, by our measure, even further down. Now, I think Kennedy probably wants to go before that happens. You know, she's looking at that like we're at the Kobayashi Maru status, guys, where there's no way out of this. We've got to make the second season or we concede that those guys are right, and then we're screwed from there. Because within a year, if there's no announcement that Amanda Sandberg is returning to play both characters again and some amazing story is going to unfold from that, if there's no announcement, there will be a celebration that it's been 1 year since the Acolyte and there's been no announcement of a season 2. And I don't think Kathleen Kennedy and that group, Dave Filoni, I don't think can handle that. His little heart will break.
Now, I think I have the answer to my question already, but why do you think they would rally so hard around Acolyte as opposed to Obi-Wan? Because we all did the same thing with Obi-Wan, right? Like, nobody wants this.
White
no
guy.
Season 2. That's exactly what I was thinking. That is 100% what I was thinking.
There's no white people in the Acolyte.
The Acolyte is just like what's the right, like the perfect distillation of everything they wanted out of the franchise. You have your diversity, you have your everybody, the good guys are bad guys, the bad guys are good guys. You have your
men are shit.
Yeah, you have your not misogyny, the other one, the misandry. Yeah. You have that. Like you have an entire season focused on family, like internal drama and not adventure. Like, they got everything they wanted out of it, and I feel like this is going to be their golden goose now. Like, they have to go, everything has to be protected here. We have to rally around the Acolyte, even though I haven't seen that yet. Like, okay, so for those of you who don't know, last week I had the opportunity to go to San Diego Comic-Con, and for a day I was able to walk around on the floor. And Star Wars every year has just a big booth, and it's just it shows off what's coming up next, plays clips on the screen and stuff. There were two things. It's actually just one big
booth.
Just one big booth.
A unit booth.
Just one big booth. no 3 booths.
Please show booths.
Please, booths, Bob's, please. So the two things I took away from passing by this booth this year were, one, they, as part of like the set deck, they had the costumes for Acolyte, like in the booth for you to go look at, and they are so boring and stupid, like especially without anybody in them. Like, they are just robes. The helmet, Smilo Ren's helmet, was even dumber in real life, just like seeing it there. It also, like, they also had the Loki like costumes on display, but it's like it was just Tom Hiddleston's suit, Owen Wilson's suit, and then like what's her name, like the TVA agent's like armor, and I'm like, these are not costumes you show off. Like, what are we doing here? But the second point, hold on, just the second point is above their booth. Star Wars has big giant screens, and they'll generally display like an ad for like the next toy that's coming up. Maybe they'll play a clip or a trailer, just stuff to entertain people. Everybody would stop and watch. I saw so many people stopping and watching, like, the Gungan fight at the end of Phantom Menace caused a pile up stop in the middle of the row. Yeah. So that, like, the Comic-Con staff had to come and go like, all right, folks, let's move, blah, blah, blah. They were showing the final fight from Rise of the Skywalker between Rey and Kylo on like that broken ship thing in the water. No, like actually nobody was looking. I stopped there and I actively looked around to see anybody craning their necks up, and somebody would do it like occasionally just to see what was up there and then immediately keep going. And I'm like, if people are in for the Gungan fight, like, wow, this just speaks everything.
Well, and again, I mean, like the Acolyte Sith helmet. I just wanna show you something about this helmet. Well, it occurred to me while we were talking about anime just a little bit ago, why that helmet is so familiar and why it's agitating to people when they look at it. And I just want to show this while we're right here. And that's really crappy image, but here is the Sith helmet, okay? Really crappy image. It's just what I could dig up really quick here. I'm trying to find a better one, bigger picture. Here we go. This one's better. So take a look at it. You see that? You got all that. Toy. You got that little Sharpie pointy mouth. I'm so edgy. Now, help me. Is this not the same?
Oh, wow. Wow. I didn't even realize that.
Somebody wanted to boink Chainsaw Man and decided to turn him into the Acolyte monster.
What?
Wow. Yep. I genuinely didn't even get that inspiration.
That just dawned on me while we were talking about the Big O. And I was like, wait a minute. That's the same face.
And well, we know Leslie Headland is at least a social media anime fan, if you will, right? Like she's watched some stuff, she's name dropped some stuff.
So she's a tourist, basically. Dude, you know that
I would say that, yeah.
Tourist meme? You know the anime tourist meme? The anime tourist meme? Where basically you only like the big anime, then you join the anime fandom to force like your own politics and police the fandom kind of thing. She's literally the fandom meme. She is the tourist anime fandom meme.
Yep. And that's just what this is. This is so painfully obvious. A like my fanfic, fan fiction of Chainsaw Man and Star Wars having a baby. And unfortunately, it's not copyright infringement, Bayona. I just want to clarify that. It's more in the line of inspired by, and that's perfectly fine.
Homage,
to do. Right. It's if he had a giant lightsaber jutting out of his head, then that. But I'm pretty sure they tried that design. I guarantee you, they tried that.
As soon as we get the Acolyte art book in like 9 years, and they finally, when it's cheap enough to just throw out there,
art book.
No, they probably tried that, and it looked too much like a penis, and that's why they didn't.
But that's what Leslie would have loved. She loves her penis metaphors, according to all of her interviews.
Obviously.
But so, like, the point, Nerdigans, I really do think that is a perfect description of her as a tourist, because so the reference to her having anime knowledge comes from an interview she did after the end of this season, actually, season 1, where she said, oh, yeah, one of my biggest thematic inspirations for the series was, what is that? You guys hear that?
Oh, I'm sorry. I had an audio playing. I forgot the screen was on.
No worries. I was just making sure that wasn't like my stuff screwing up.
No, I had an audio playing.
It's all good. It's all good. So yeah, after the season finale aired, Leslie Headland gave an interview and she said, "Oh yeah, one of my biggest thematic inspirations for the Acolyte was Cowboy Bebop." She even dropped Shinichiro Watanabe by name. She said, "Oh yeah, I love this series. This was a big thematic inspiration." And the interviewer says, "Oh, how so?" And Leslie Headland says, well, you can see, like, one of the things I love about Cowboy Bebop is how it can be so goofy one moment and then go serious the next. You have Spike chasing a bounty and, losing him. And then you have a flashback to his past with Julia. And I just thought the constant contrast was so, it was such good storytelling. And I'm like, right, it's pacing, but I'm also like, you're seeing the aesthetics of it. You're not understanding why they kept doing those intercut flashbacks. You're not understanding what they were trying to convey.
Family Guy joke.
Right. That's exactly it. That's how she sees it. She sees it as this is something that happens, so I do it. They don't understand why are you doing it? Why are you doing it this way? And like that's why I know she's a tourist, because there is no there is nothing in the Acolyte, even trying to be the most charitable I could possibly like be, that even reflects anything from Cowboy Bebop. Like there's just nothing. So yeah, she's 1,000% a tourist.
Well, and that's Nerdigans has this graphic here.
That's the meme.
Oh.
Yeah, sure. She's not talking about live action Bebop, and it's like tell him. Unfortunately, she's not, and because she knows the that won't give her credit. She knows that it's only by dropping the old one she'll get credit with everybody.
See, we've learned about Leslie is that she most likely was a child manipulator. Not that she manipulates children, but as a child, she had to grow up manipulating in order to get attention. She talks about being at odds with her sister, which strikes me as sibling rivalry. The sister was getting more attention than her, and that had the split and that sort of thing. So she was most likely very emotionally manipulative, which led to this whole situation where she's like, it's just like Cowboy Bebop, guys. Even though she'd only probably had seen a few of it because a guy that she tried to date to prove that she wasn't gay to her parents wanted her to watch it while they were making out on a couch. You have to understand that a lot of these people don't traffic in anime. They traffic in the culture of anime. They traffic in the culture of fandom. They don't actually belong to it.
AKA the meme.
Correct.
Yeah, exactly. And like, I think that what's super telling too, and this just popped in my head, Cider, as you were talking, is the fact that she goes out of her way to specify like, oh yeah, Shinichiro Watanabe, he was the best. That was the best one. It's sort of like, I feel like you're trying a little too hard to drop your cred, right? Like, for example, I know Cider and I have watched Cowboy Bebop. We're massive fans of it. So was Nerdigans. And I feel like if we had a discussion about it, we wouldn't randomly be like, oh yeah, do you remember Cowboy Bebop by Shinichiro Watanabe? We'd just be like, oh dude, remember Bebop? Or, hey, remember Cowboy Bebop? Remember that episode of Cowboy Bebop where this happens?
Nobody says, you remember Lord of the Rings by Tolkien, by J.J.R. Tolkien? Nobody says that.
It's the same thing that Jenny Nicholson pointed out in her Star Wars Galaxies, whatever the hell that was, video, where when a shill was doing, the cruiser, when a shill was doing a preview or talking about it, the way you could tell that they were paid by Disney was that they would go out of their way to say like the full attraction name. Like, if we all went, we'd go like, guys, we went to the Star Wars land over at Disney. Let's talk about it. But they would be like, guys, we went to that hotel. They go, guys, I went to Disney Star Wars Galaxy's Edge last night and stayed at Disney Star Wars Halcyon Light Cruiser. Let's go check it out. And it's like, the fact that they're saying the full name of it means Disney's like, I need you to say that.
Right, and they name every location, they name the lounge, instead of saying, this is the bar, and that's a really kooky alien. Sometimes she sings, and sometimes she doesn't. That they give like a full rundown. This actress, and she was hired, and she's been singing for so long, and had this to say about working here.
They drop like canon things into it, like, because that's what Disney does sometimes. They'll be like, oh, this character in our park is a canon thing. And they'll drop it like it's something we all should have known. Right? Like it was something that dropped in a comic book or in passing, like, oh yeah, you guys all know her. She was the sing blah, 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 blah. And it's like, no, nobody knows her. This is a complete Disney shill thing. Like nobody knows.
And then you get
singers,
and then you get like the wine mom, soccer mom, captain there. That's like, okay, everybody, we're gonna go on a Star Wars adventure.
The Kathleen Kennedy captain. Like I cannot get over.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Like let me grab that picture of her.
What's sad is that lady is like very built nice, but the blue on her just ruins it. It just ruins all. Like I don't want to touch that because you're blue like that. Stop being that blue. But otherwise, she's a very nice curvy lady. Unfortunately, the blue just doesn't do it right. See, with Thrawn, like when they did that with the live action, when he just looks like an Elon Musk that hold his breath too long, and that it didn't. The blue people in real life thing doesn't work.
He was so fat and out of shape in that show. That was so weird.
Well, that's because they had to make fun of Elon Musk with him.
Oh no, I get it. And like I know what they were going for. I'm just like, further criticizing how stupid it was.
You imagine being that actor and you're like. This is nothing like what I read. Oh yeah, this lady.
What's his name? It's Lars Mikkelsen. Like that's a really storied actor. Like he has the chops. I bet he was not happy about what he got. But yeah, this is the original character that drives the Star Cruiser. This is just Kathleen
that's right. She
Kennedy.
drives
Like,
it.
I cannot get over it. Like, this is just her.
It
It's
is.
a self
So
it's
insert.
blue
Well,
Kathleen
are we
Kennedy.
sure that's not Violet Beauregard from Willy
It's
Wonka?
true.
they don't
did
own
squeeze
that
her.
quite yet. It's coming, but they don't own that one
Right.
quite yet.
The thing I want to point out though is that we see her in her captain's uniform every now and then, and she is quite built nice. But she's definitely got that wine mom character to her. Like there's absolutely nothing that says she's a captain other than that hat. That's
It's
it.
that
That's,
dude. It's that haircut. Like it's that
That's true.
haircut and that expression. It's the haircut is the
It's
wine
the
mom
Nancy
haircut, and
Pelosi expression.
that's exactly it. It's the like Rosie the Riveter feminist, like I rule, but with
Oh.
nothing to back it up, right? Like
Oh god, she does
Spencer.
look like Nancy Pelosi in the face. Oh my god.
I'll hit you with this one because Jacob's not here yet. He'd probably make
Yeah.
this one because we're like he's not dead. He's just late. Okay, he's not. We're not reminiscing over dead Jacob. Not yet, anyway. But this is a character from Sky High.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
This looks like
Yes,
a character
dude.
that's like the bus garage, like head mechanic lady that saves like the fat bus driver guy when his bus is half broke
I
down
was
in the
just
sky.
about to say, dude,
You know, the
that
tow
definitely
guy.
seems like the bus dispatcher for
Right.
Sky High. That's
Exactly.
crazy.
And she's blue and stuff, and she's like, it's like a Mystique sort of ripoff, right? It's
Yep.
character, but she's like the manager of the flying bus garage. So, but it does not look like a Star Wars character. There's nothing about this that suggests Star Wars whatsoever. The problem is that in what we were shown, only the military wears these types of uniforms. And when they wear them, it's typically black or beige if they're the good guys. There's no dark blue, there's no silver, there's no like traditional military color to them unless you're designed by Hugo Boss in the 1930s. And that's it. When you place this character like this in a Star Wars universe, you're like, well, no, you're wrong. This is like iParty Star Wars. We missed it. And that's
what this tells me, like this is so telling to me where, it's such a boring design. But they tried to like frontline it and be like, look, this is your new favorite character. To me, it's like, do you remember old Star Wars? The fantasy of old Star Wars was adventure. Right, you were Luke. You went out and you fought for a bigger cause. You were Leia. You led armies against true evil. That was what that fantasy was. And now you can have a career. Like you can be a career woman. That's what your fantasy is now. And I'm just like, that is boring. That's what they want nowadays. Like all the coffee shop AU stuff. Like they want safe to the point where it kills all of our stories.
Yeah. Well, and speaking of killing our stories, Jacob's here. So we've got
So 200,000 people had sex with a bear, huh? Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
I wanted it hang on that
just
one.
sit there for
Let it hang.
So there we go.
Yeah, in case you guys don't know what Jacob is talking about, the Baldur's Gate 3 team recently released a stat compilation of what everybody's been doing, and over 200,000 players chose to have sex with a druid or whatever it was, a druid who turned into a bear. So
now what's curious about this is that this happened before that guy went around asking the women on the street if they choose the bear or the man. So I have to wonder if these are the same people. If those women were the ones who were playing Baldur's Gate, having sex with the bear, and then also answering the question later on, now that they knew for sure,
I have to believe that a lot of the people playing Baldur's Gate 3 are also a lot of the people who promoted that meme or that discourse rather.
So you wanted to talk to Jacob about Warner Brothers.
Yes.
Before that,
dude.
I do want to. I have to mention this. Real quick. It's just funny because I found that because IGN, that was the main headline, was 200,000 players fuck the bear. It's like, what does that say about IGN that they focused on that?
To be fair, what that says is they're just trying to make a headline people will click. And hey, we're talking about it, aren't we? kind of, they did their job.
So again, like as Jacob said, 200,000 people. Now, I I realize what happened here. There was a lot of like, can you actually? Is this actually in the game?
There was a lot of memeing.
And people. Well, no, there was a lot of people like in Skyrim. You try to go and do a thing to screw up the game and like fling yourself across the map, right? You run up a mountain, glitch and fling. That kind of thing. Well, there have had to have been people that were like, no, you can't really boink a bear. You can't. It's just a meme from Twitter. You can't,
that's what I mean.
You actually can. You know.
Oh, you can do it, and then stat registered.
Right, and I think that's chiefly what drove this number. Were people that were just genuinely curious if that actually was a function in the game, only to find out to their horror that I'm
of that same opinion.
Curious.
Right, and
in other words, we're desperately trying to cope with the reality that 200,000 people decided to have sex with a bear in a video.
This is cope.
We very much are. We very much. You can see active cope happening right now.
And speaking of cope, a lot of Power Rangers Samurai fans, Neo Saban fans, have some cope to deal with as they find out that the Green Samurai Ranger doesn't like old white men. What a surprise!
You want to take this one, Cider?
Sure. As reported by Jorge Arenas over there at the Bounding Into Comics website. Feel free to check that out for all your nerd news, gaming news, and pop culture news right now. Anyway, the situation that we find ourselves in is that the Green Ranger decided to shove over an old man in a parking lot. We have the video right here as police have released it as this fella has gotten away with it. You heard the audio just a few minutes ago because I was a little loosey-goosey with how I was previewing this, but here we go. So what you're seeing in the distance here is this fella, pictured here, in these clothes, and he's approaching a man who's pushing a cart, and he's either bent over or at least off screen as we see him, but he's right about here, so your attention is meant to be down at the bottom here. There it is, and he shoves over this old guy, just like that. And then he scolds him. As you can see, he points at him here after he shoved him down, saying something to scold him. Goes at it again, points and scolds at him again, turns around, and gets into his truck. And
I'm surprised he didn't throw up gang signs as he walked away from the corpse.
Well, they had like... I can't remember what samurais... It was Go-Go Samurai was their stupid catchphrase, so I can't imagine he said that when they fell over. When that old guy fell over. But yeah, the police are trying to find him because he did this and just walked away. Just shoved over this old guy. Now, I have to point out that there is no earthly reason why this happened. Quite clearly, the old man did not assault the actor. This fellow is bent over picking up something off the ground when we first encounter him. As you can see here, we'll replay the video. See, that fella is just in front of his truck from what we can see. He's bent over to pick up something, and he gets shoved over by the Green Ranger there. Now, we can't tell. I'm not trying to make excuses here. I'm just trying to explain what I see is happening. It looks like the old man left the store and simply entered the line of like this, where the actor was driving. And for whatever reason, the actor had to stop very abruptly and decided he was pissed off about that and went and shoved the old man out of the way. And that appears to be what's happening. We'll go back and we'll take a look. Keep your eye on the traffic behind them. And it looks like they're driving. And as you can see, it looks like they're driving around here, right? They're not exactly parked in a particular position. So it makes me think that this old guy stepped out off the curb abruptly, didn't look where he was going. This pissed off the actor. In the process of getting out of the truck, the old man dropped something. He was picking it up, and this happened. And so that's why he's being scolded. But now that I say that, I see the handicap symbol down here. Look at that. See down at the bottom? You see the blue square down here?
Well, I mean, he did work for Power Rangers, so he probably has a legitimate
especially Neo Saban. But you see that. See, there's the blue square down there. Watch. There's the blue square underneath his truck. See it?
There it is.
So this guy is like literally like uber douche. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, he's parked. He even parked crosswise in it. Look, he's not even parked appropriate. Look at the line. He's like double parked inside of a handicap spot.
Seriously.
And he shoves over an old man in his way.
He's like the final boss of douchebags.
This is what somebody would write like if there was like a Captain Marvel 3, this would be like the white guy that Carol Danvers like meets in the very beginning. And
giant pickup truck, double parked at a handicap spot.
Right. pushing over old men, and all of us would go, wow.
Has a Trump 45 jersey on.
Right. Exactly. And all of us would go, this is so on the nose. This is dumb. But here it is in real life.
Yeah, he'll shove over the old man to get to Carol and then start hitting on her.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah. And just like that Superman scene from this Man of Steel where he shoves the truck over the lamppost, Carol with the man inside will spear the truck down a lamppost like in the most sexual manner possible.
And of course the old man will be gay because of reasons too. So
right.
Oh yeah, it has to be.
But it'll be annoyingly that we find out about that. She's helping him up and he'll be like, oh thank God my husband wasn't here to protect me. I'm glad you're here. And it'll be like the most annoying way to find out that he's gay. It's not even subtle. He has to be like, my husband wasn't here to help me. Yeah, just like in the Power Rangers Once and Always thing where that guy was like, you gotta save my boyfriend. Please save my boyfriend who's in peril, not this other man that I was on the beach with. Yeah, it's very annoying. But yeah, no, we've got again, this is 2 for 2 now of Power Rangers committing crimes against random innocent people. We got a murderer the first time with the Red Ranger from Wild Force. Taking a sword, a katana to his roommate for jumping him. And then now this guy who's just like, fuck old people. And
I mean, there's also, it just seems like it's very hard to be a post-Power Rangers actor. You're either physically assaulting people or you're putting Hitler quotes on your merchandise. There's really just no in-between at this point.
There's no gray area. Absolutely. And then there's always, and I hate to make this joke, but there's always that last option that the green one took, So
it might be the only way to save it.
If you want to get away from shoving over old men, you know how the Green Ranger got out of it last time. But anyway, you wanted to talk to Jacob about Warner Brothers. This is the third time we swung at it, so let's get to it.
Jacob,
we'll get to it eventually.
Yeah, no, we'll do it now. We'll do it live, I swear.
Do it live.
Did you hear the news out of the earnings call today, Jacob, from Warner Brothers?
Oh, you mean Warner Brothers big massive oopsie?
They're
as PewDiePie said, they did an oopsie.
a big massive oopsie. We saw that they lost the NBA deal.
Arguably the biggest oopsie of all time.
And so we were talking about it a little bit earlier. The big takeaway was Warner Brothers admitted that basically all of their television offerings, their networks, if you can even call them that anymore, are worth $10 billion less than they thought. How do you come back from this? What happens now? I feel like this is the next week we're gonna get the sale confirmation. This is so unbelievable awful.
Bring on Comcast, baby. We all know it's coming. Let's just get it over with. So
it's Comcast. It's going to be Comcast, Warner Brothers, Discovery, Disney, plus Max, Apple. I don't know.
You really I understand why Discovery did it, because in their mind, it's like, oh, look at all the assets that we're going to acquire through this deal. Any other normal person would have been like, hey, these guys are like $60 billion in debt. I wouldn't touch their asset with a 10-foot pole. Maybe just let them collapse. And look, we talked about this. Yeah, we've talked about this many times before. This is a debt now that's really rolled around since Ted Turner owned Warner. It's this has been around for 25 plus years. It was almost because we mentioned this with the context of AEW, and I'll get to them here in a second as well.
Yeah,
the reason why WCW, the old pro wrestling company, went out of business in 2001 was because they got sold away by, at the time, AOL. Warner was the company that went and bought them and scooped it all up and turned it into a conglomerate. And then, honestly, ever since then, they've just been recycling the debt and recycling the debt. AT&T had it for a short period of time, and then they went and flipped it over like it was a HGTV show. And now you have Discovery just came in here and bought this whole thing. But it's is anyone going to address the fact that this company literally has not had money for 3 decades, and whoever buys it just ends up in the worst financial position than they were before? And here we are now. Somehow they managed to write an oopsie of nearly $10 billion. It's they thought they were going to be okay, well, we'll be down about $900 million. It's not great, but at the end of the day, we could look around. It's oh no, actually, it turned out to be $9.1 billion, and this is on top of the fact that they just lost the rights to the NBA from Amazon.
They're going to they're going to Amazon. I thought they were going to ESPN for that one.
Well, it's multiple networks, so it's like one was Amazon.
Right.
That was
a weird bundle thing. That's right.
Yeah, Amazon was the big one.
Thing,
They tried to match it and they couldn't, so they're going to lose them. So I think Amazon, NBC, and I believe partly ESPN as well. So all that being rolled into as one. So that's a massive hit. Like I said, the DC universe is dead. Let's be very, very clear here. Like they're on a hope and a prayer that somehow James Gunn can make a solid Superman movie, which that should let you know right away that this whole thing is cooked.
Very cooked.
And then on top of that, the networks are dying off. They're now trying to reshuffle and rebrand all the networks. Remember, I want to take you back just for a second here. Remember back in like 2002, when I believe was the first year that they introduced like digital cable, which is the transition away from analog to like digital. And it was like, oh my God, now I have like 900 channels that I can watch simultaneously. I'm never going to run out of stuff to watch. And everyone marked out about the gimmick of now I have like 900 channels, even though like 500 of them are music channels.
Yeah,
and then it took people
right, like 1,000 of them at the very end. All the 800 and 900s were like Latin jazz, Latin like rock, like doesn't
elevator
count.
music, glorified elevator music, right?
Genuinely.
And it took people about, I say, 3 years to realize, oh wow, there's like nothing on any of these networks. It's like there's a bunch of networks on, but it's like there's literally nothing to watch. And then everyone like started panicking. We're now at the point where people have justifiably been like, hey, look, if I have an internet connection, I really don't need cable at this point. So there's really no use for cable. And so all these networks are completely falling apart. Warner is trying to figure out what they're going to do now that they don't have basketball anymore. Now all they have is baseball playoffs and hockey occasionally. They got to figure out, okay.
Yeah, they don't even have the full rights for the season. It's just for those playoff games, or for the MLB, it's playoff. And it's only half of the playoff games. And then it's occasional hockey games when they're outside of the market.
So now they're sitting here trying to figure out, okay, what are we going to do with TNT? What are we going to do with TBS? What are we going to do with True TV? What are we going to do with HD TV? What are we going to do with Discovery? What are we going to do with all of these channels that we've acquired that we cannot spend the money to actually put content on any of these channels anymore? What are we going to do?
Bingo. I want to point out, okay, this debt is twice the size of the national GDP of Barbados. Okay?
Yeah,
I just
almost doubled up.
Almost double of what this is. A tropical island where people vacation, billionaires. I think Biden vacations in this place or nearby. And so this is a place that actually has real money dropped on it annually, okay? And the debt that these dickheads have worked up is twice the size of that. Okay? This is like Zaslav was brought in. They set this in front of him, and he was like, I guarantee it. He was just, by the time he got rid of Batgirl, he was just like, come on, baby, I just want out. It was just like that, It was just.
Well, at least he proved everyone right with Batman Cape Crusader. He did. Yep. He got rid of it for a reason.
And this is the thing, like, Discovery had its own thing going, and it was somewhat successful. Like it's obviously way smaller compared to like the Disneys and the Paramounts and the Comcast and whatnot. But I mean, they had HD TV, they had Discovery, they had like a lot of channels that are pretty much casual. Like people who would still watch TV, like will still watch like those type of shows. Like you still watch like 100%. Deadliest Catch or like Street Outlaws or Flip or Flop or whatever the case may be, because it was unscripted content. It was cheap and people actually watched it, so they had a good thing going.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they just bought into, let's buy Warner Brothers and turn ourselves into a film studio and be one of the major players. And it seems like almost immediately everything has fallen apart as a result of this whole deal. And like I said, I've been saying this for a while now, and people keep pushing back. And it's like, look, we're dangerously close to the reality that within a few years, realistically, we're looking at Disney and Comcast being the only two major Hollywood studios in the game at this point, because we all know Paramount's in no better position right now. They're looking to sell off. Warner Brothers has so much debt. If anyone comes around with enough cash to willing to buy them out, they'll probably sell too. So if Comcast eats up or one or maybe both of these companies in the next few years, what actual film studios do you have left? You'll have Disney, you'll have Comcast. Do you have that much faith in Sony with everything going on at Sony right now? So
No.
and then they'll try to like go about it by saying that, oh, well, I mean, we still have Amazon and we still have Apple, but it's like those aren't film studios. Like those
Well,
aren't.
Apple's also getting out of it. They're like they just announced the other day that they're like cutting back their not production budget, but like the money they're willing
spending and
to
all this
invest.
stuff, right?
Yeah, the spending. That's what it is. Yeah, on their program. So
And if Apple is cutting back, like that should let you
Right.
know, like because Apple has more cash at hand than literally any one of these companies at all. If they're saying, okay, hold up, we're done losing money, that should tell you something of where we're heading now. I don't think that's been finalized yet. I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to sell off like pieces. Cause I think they know if they try to sell it wholesale, there's gonna be like some issues similar to like the Fox and Disney deal where they have to sell off some of the assets separately in order to avoid any kind of like monopoly laws or anything like that. That's probably preemptively what they're trying to do here. Maybe sell off a few things that may be problematic for a bigger sale, but that's all I can see as a possibility at this point. I mean, media is not in good shape. Like, I don't know if you guys have watched movies, televisions, obviously animated cartoons lately. There really isn't much good out there right now. Like you can argue the best show of the last like 5-10 years is Yellowstone, and who owns that? That's Paramount. Is Paramount doing very good right now? No, absolutely not. So yeah, the whole TV medium is just collapsing upon itself right now, and it's their own fault, really.
Well, it is, and you're absolutely right. But I want to point out why that is happening. All right, and it's not because necessarily that the programming itself is poisonous. Because look at what we've had to suffer through for the past, like I don't know when cable became a thing up until this point. All right, we've been quite a few turds have come through. All right, it's not like cable was this wonderful place where only gems existed and it was gold from every corner. You know, so. What we're actually looking at here is what was pointed out earlier. Streaming killed cable. You don't need to wait through a commercial to watch your show. You don't need to be around at 7 o'clock at night or have your TiVo tuned to record it. You can just sit down and watch it while you're taking a crap. You can put it on in the shower if you have like a plastic bag and some duct tape. Just put it on in the shower while you're in there and you watch your show.
And just real quick too, a perfect example of this is, as you guys have known, I think pretty much all year, all of 2024, Tubi has been the most watched streaming service out of anyone, out of like Netflix, HBO Max, Peacock, all of them. And Tubi is a free app that really just shows old movies occasionally, right? So, and here's the problem. Because people are gotten to the point where they realize, wow, these old movies are actually far better than the new crap that's being produced now. I'll just go and watch the old movies. Plus, it's free. I don't have to pay anything to watch this. So now everyone's just flocking to Tubi, and all the big studios are like, how the hell is Tubi beating us right now? When they figure this out, they are eventually going to kill Tubi. Like Tubi has a very short shelf life, so enjoy it now while you can, because they will ruin it.
They'll probably start like cutting all their licensing deals and try, just like Disney did with Netflix, right? Like, oh, we don't want you hosting it anymore. We'll take everything back. And so now you got to go to, what does Universal even have? I don't know. Well, it's Peacock, I think might be them. Yeah, right. So like, yeah, you'll have to go to that. And it's going to be, it's all bad. Like that to me sounds so exhausting. Like I like Tubi because it's got, I don't know. I don't, just like you said, everything sucks nowadays. So I might as well go to Tubi and watch something I know I can enjoy.
Tubi, you can just watch like old movies from like the 80s and the 70s and be like, oh yeah, this is when cinema was actually good. I just watch all this stuff.
This is actually entertaining. Yeah, no, I don't see. To me, the only way Disney and all these guys can compete with them is by straight up going, okay, let's start giving them that sort of content. Let's give them all the content. Let's make new shows that maybe give the audiences what they want, but they will never do that. We are going to get our season 2 of the Acolyte.
Even if all the studios said right here today, it's like, okay, you know what, we're gonna go back to making entertainment content that all the fans are gonna love. It's too late. Like you guys have burnt this bridge far too much for anyone to go back and say, okay, guys, we're done now. We caved. You come back now. We'll give you guys Batman Beyond or something like that. It's like, no, it's like, you've dug this grave now realistically for at least the last if we're being fair, maybe 15 years up to this point, and now we're kind of at the end result of your decisions for the last several years. Because keep in mind, it wasn't that long ago Hollywood collectively decided, hey, you know what? We don't need this domestic market anymore. We got China. You know how many people are in China? We can just go sell our stuff over there and make so much money. We don't even need the Americans anymore. And then all of a sudden, that China money evaporated real quick.
Very, very fast.
And they got so desperate, they even for like 6 months was like, well, how about Saudi Arabia? Let's go to Saudi Arabia and see if we can get money out of them. And then all of a sudden,
we make programming for Americans.
Yeah, right.
No, never again.
But this just goes to show you the lengths that they're willing to go to avoid going back to their homegrown audience.
Yep. Well, and the thing I really want to highlight about what you said is that a lot of people in our age group, they go to YouTube now.
Yeah.
We get our entertainment chiefly comes from YouTube. We're not watching shows. We're not watching movies. We're watching videos. And some of those may contain those movies. Like Dust, for instance, is a independent sci-fi film channel that curates a wide variety of sci-fi independent films that are of varying lengths from creators around the internet. It's not just in-house. They don't even make their own stuff. They just house it. They're like an eclectic closet of indie sci-fi. And again, it ranges from people with cardboard boxes on their heads and tinfoil basements to whole huge cinematic productions that would put Marvel to shame. And it's all right there, free for you to watch. You know, if you want a premium account to avoid the ads in the middle of it, you can. But other than that, it's free to you. It's like it's a Tubi phenomenon. Because it's free, people will use it.
Pluto is good too. Pluto's got a lot of like anime stuff too.
Right.
They've got a lot of that Japanese
They
stuff.
actually started doing simulcasts for Captain Tsubasa. They did
Really?
weekly simulcasts. Yeah.
That's so surprising.
Wow.
So yeah.
Like that's cool. I have no commentary on it. It's cool, but like wow, surprising.
They got Crunchyroll channel on there now too. So it's like they got these stream. It's crazy. They got streaming services got to watch out because if Pluto TV starts doing more anime simulcasts, then they're in trouble.
So I just want to highlight
buy them up and kill them.
Well, no, I just want to highlight this too. We've got another competitor that made a massive splash in this whole thing was Kick.com over the weekend, or at least 2 days ago anyway. That was Monday. Donald Trump and Aiden Ross hosted the largest live stream in history, where Aiden and Trump were sitting in a Cybertruck that was decked out with the assassination attempt rap that Aiden had prepared. It's not a rap, so it's not a song. It's an actual graphics on the side of the truck, if you don't know.
Yeah.
And so Kick just splashed into the whole thing because of there's close to 1 million people watching that live stream. And in that live stream, by the way, Donald Trump promised that during his presidency, he would not be getting rid of TikTok and he would be taking it from the Chinese and making it work for America. It would not be benefiting the Chinese anymore. Well, we do have trade laws that forbade an enemy nation from making money, and we can take their property from them. We do have that if it becomes an item of the public utility, in which the internet is being pushed into being a public utility. I don't want that, but our laws allow for us to divest the Chinese from TikTok. We can force the sale to Microsoft or another company within the U.S.
I think China will just block probably just block it.
They would just pull out. Yeah, they would just pull out.
And then we have the technology to make our own. And then we have, which is what they did with MeWe and Weibo. And that's that. They just ripped off Facebook and Twitter. And that's all they did was copy and paste that. So we'll just do that with TikTok. But Trump promised he wasn't going to get rid of TikTok.
It's called Vine. They just bring back Vine. Vine exists. YouTube Shorts exist. Like
YouTube Shorts. Hold on. YouTube Shorts is it really is like that. Do you know the spoiler on the back of like those cars that have like the coffee cans attached to the back? That's what the shorts are. Is that spoiler on the back of the car? Completely useless.
There's also Instagram Reels too. But
and that's just it too, is that those institutions probably will inherit it, but I think a Vine-like product will be born. Elon wants to relaunch something like it.
I think think a better product will come out of it.
But this
it'll
is
be like
where
probably a Snapchat meets Vine kind of thing will come out of it.
But what I wanted to
don't
point
think
out
will be
about it
Kick.
though.
I don't think it will be Kick though, because Kick servers are just awful from what I've heard.
Well, YouTube's were awful in the beginning too. They didn't have the funding until Google swallowed them in order to handle everything that was being put on the
And then they
platform.
sold their soul.
Exactly. So Kick will eventually do this as well, and I have a feeling that Kick will be the new long-form content hub. It feels
I
like
think
that's
if
going
anything,
to
it will be the new Twitch. I don't think it will be the new YouTube. It would probably, if it's going to
Good
be
point.
anything, it'll be the new Twitch.
That's a good point, because it does carry that ambiance. It's not a pre-recorded platform. You're right. That's true. But there again, I mean, YouTube has established itself as this, and that's why a lot of people in our age group turn to this. The Zoomers and the Alphas turn to TikTok. Now, it's not necessarily because it's short form content. Routinely, you'll find these long TikTok chains that are somebody talking for like a half an hour through 2-minute clips. And that's probably going to force a like horizontal presentation, long form video content platform to be born. So like a YouTube, but it goes like this instead of like this. So
well, there's also something else that's happening on TikTok is that protest live streams are coming out of TikTok. So yeah, so we've this is stuff that back in 2020 was mainly on like Facebook, Twitch, and Instagram. But this time around, they have migrated to TikTok, which I'm really surprised about. I don't know why they've migrated to TikTok of all places, but
well, it's probably because it's actually allowing it to be seen. The Chinese like to screw with our politics, so by allowing these riots free roam and to spread around to get all the clicks and monetization, they are also spreading disorder and chaos as well. So it accomplishes their foreign policy goals along with their monetization goals. That's probably why they're allowing it. Because as we know, the Chinese version of TikTok promotes science, promotes culture, it promotes history, it promotes, well-being in nation, whereas ours is like, you should eat Tide Pods and dance in traffic because Drake might see it. Kanye too, if you care. So, and
Kanye too.
But this is what birthed the influencer culture that Ubisoft is now bribing.
oh my god. Oh,
So-
something.
Yeah,
that
no, I mean, the only thing I have to say about the entire, like, I agree with you on that. My only commentary is regarding the Aiden Ross stream is that for all that conservatives love to say they don't like homosexuality, they really loved watching a young man suck off an older man.
That was so weird,
decade.
dude. That was weirder than Nick Fuentes, man. And that kid
It
is
was
the top
so
end of weird. Like Aiden, if you don't know Aiden, for quick, let's just hold on. Let me just pause this for a second.
Yeah.
Aiden Ross, if you don't know, he got famous because he joined a ranked basketball 2K live video game group. Okay, so they were playing basketball live. He joined that group, and he just kept saying that he wanted to play with Drake. For whatever reason, LeBron. He wanted to play with LeBron.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, LeBron was like, "I'll go play video games with this scrawny little white kid." And he did, and that's all there is to Aiden. He just said he wanted to, and people showed up. And because LeBron the King did it, he just tried it with anybody else. And they didn't want to be like, well, I'm not going to be outdone by LeBron. And that's just where Aiden's brain came from, is I want to stream with this guy.
But
and they're
by
like,
the way,
I got to.
With the whole Trump stream, notice that a lot of streamers have come out recently said, yeah, the Kamala Harris keep contacting us because she wants to do a stream with us, but it's like, we don't want to do a stream with you. Go away, stop calling us.
Well, that I'll bring that one up right now. I was preparing that for the next one. We'll just teeter-totter back and forth.
Hop right into it, yeah.
So this is real. Kai Cenat, I think you say it. Cenat.
I think that's how you say it. That's how I said Cenat.
I don't follow his stuff. It's not that I'm stuck up. He just streams stuff I'm not into. That's all.
I just don't care about like big streamers like that.
I don't either.
So he's now mentioned twice that Kamala Harris's team is bothering him. They're not even contacting him at this point. They're bothering him about showing up on a stream with him. And then the most recent one, I can't show it because it's copyright protected content because this is his stream and what he was doing live. But driving around. Now I don't know. You could just be going around a racetrack when on an off day. I don't know what
Just
this
driving
was.
around Home Depot in a circle.
Well, yeah, it could be that because like the truck wasn't exactly moving a lot. You know, when you're in traffic, you'll like jerk back and forth if you're not in the seat and buckled in. So I can't imagine he's just roaming around the streets like this and having like random traffic.
I saw an
stops.
episode of Jackass that ended like this. Once.
Yeah. Steve-O ended up on his head. Yeah, and the truck turned over. But that's the one where they were having dinner in the back, right? And they rolled the truck.
No, I mean, it was even worse. I was thinking of the roller derby one where they were like all on skates as they were driving in the back of the van.
Oh yeah, that one.
That's wild.
That one looks so painful all the time.
Not as extreme, but Kai was riding around in the back of a truck. It was clear the truck was in motion, but he was riding around and he was explaining that Kamala Harris's team had reached out to him. And we're not going to play the whole thing. So he gets so pissed off about this. He stands up toward the we didn't get the clip. So on Twitter, there's a clip of him where he's complaining about this, and he just grabs a hold of the camera and just rips it out, pitches it to the floor, and he says, "I will not be bought." And he's like screaming it in the back of the truck, which is, you know, clearly just driving around in circles. But it's one of those gimmicks where I'm breaking the law, y'all. I'm in the back of the truck, ain't with no seatbelt, and we are streaming Elden Ring. Let's go. You know, and that's
yeah,
that's a gimmick. You know, I'm doing illegal activities while I'm playing a video game.
Well, by the way, as much as Kai likes to say that he has not been bought, he has 1,000% already been bought. It's like you don't get Kevin Hart and Nicki Minaj to show up to your house unless you've already been bought.
I kind of that was my kind of reaction to that too.
I just gonna check on how many views. Jeez, look at this.
Whoa.
Okay, so the views on this, it has 1.7 million views in 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
people are paying attention.
And this isn't even on the primary platform it was on, you know?
No.
And so that's it though, is that like at the end of it, Donald Trump was saying that he's not going to ban TikTok, and then I just want to see if I can get like this really. Yeah, so there it is. That's the wrap on. So he's like, "Hey, you remember that time you got shot? I put that on the side of a truck." Here, you own it now, so you could drive around. Yo, dog, we heard you like getting shot at. So we put a picture of you getting shot at on the side of your truck,
so you can remember when you got shot.
Wherever you drive.
It's such just a weird, bizarre moment. That whole stream,
right? But it's Zoomer like crack.
Oh, yeah, I can see exactly why. Like he did it all. It is Zoomer crack. He was dealing.
Well, I talked to I have an internet daughter through streaming and stuff like that. I met a gal who's in college, and her parents suck, so I'm just basically her de facto father figure. And so like
Wolverine,
it kind of, but less stabby, just only
She's
less.
my X-23.
Well, yeah, because you don't live in England.
It's pretty close. It's pretty close. She is quite snippety, but I adore her. Anyway, I asked her about this. I said, what are your people saying about it? Because she's like the captain of 3 esports teams. So they're right involved in this gamer stuff where Aiden comes from. And she's like, Aiden is like Jesus to the male gamer crew. And him uniting with Trump was like Jesus and Buddha shaking hands with like eagles and fireworks going off in the background. She's like, I swear a few of them jizzed in their pants. So
now if only a few of them could vote.
Right. If only they were capable of reading. But that's just it, is that the politics is no longer about the issues anymore. It is about who is talking about the politician. That's it. So that's why they want Kai so bad. Why Kamala wants, because he's the tippity top right now. He's the new PewDiePie. He's the new Dr. Disrespect. So they want him to say Kamala's cool. So then all the Zoomers go, "Oh my gosh, Kamala's cool." And
Zoomers, I feel bad for you if that is your if that is your PewDiePie. I feel so bad for you.
I mean, he's no worse than Mr. Beast at this point, right?
It's true. I mean,
Mr. Beast might be a little worse.
Yeah, well, he's deleting everything now.
Yeah, that's the part that really gets me. That once you start deleting comments,
shred everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Seriously, I feel bad for Zoomers, because like you look at PewDiePie, especially with how he's living his life now, and compare it to like what you're seeing with this with the next generation here, and it's like, God, I can't help but feel bad for Zoomers. because I watched PewDiePie when I was
Sure.
younger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, I just feel bad for these Zoomers, and it kind of explains a lot of the activity that's happening on Twitter with how Zoomers are acting towards the rest of the world on Twitter. Oh my god.
Well, I watched this documentary on Twitter about a week ago, and it was about teachers that are bringing up the alphas, and they were. This is the kids that are behind the Zoomers. That's what they're officially calling them.
Oh,
Call
that's
them
what you
like.
Okay, I was like, are they, like a bunch
Not
of
alpha
like
males,
super,
like, oh yeah,
yeah. I was like,
Chads.
oh, a bunch of super Chad 6-year-olds. Like, hell yeah, I'd watch that documentary.
No, these are the alpha kids are like the next generation of the Zoomers, and these are the ones that can't tell time on an analog clock. All right,
That's sad.
Now, what gets worse? So I was watching this documentary, and they were explaining that the middle schoolers, when they read words, they are not connecting the phonetic sound to that word. This is middle school, so they see the word "they," and they are not connecting what sound that word makes. All right. And what they're blaming this on chiefly, and
So wait, what do you mean? So they read the word and they know what the word means, but they can't speak it?
Correct. There's no phonetic connection, so they say because they're reading things, they're not speaking.
I wonder if 4 years of wearing a mask and like severely muting people's verbal skills may have had a negative effect on.
I wonder if not reading with parents reading with their kids is causing this and just shoving a video
That's
game
what
in
the
their
teachers.
face.
Nerdigan's got it. That's what the teachers
yeah.
are saying. The teachers are saying this is that you put the tablet in front of your kid. Makes perfect sense. It's showing the word. It's saying the word. The problem is there's no other human being that's making the kid say that word in concert. So all they're hearing is how it sounds. They're not learning how to make that sound.
In other words, this is another consequence of letting television raise your children.
Right, exactly. And so the kids can read, but they can't communicate it. So it's frustrating the hell out of them, which is leading to these confrontations we see the videos of. So the kids aren't necessarily evil. They're just, they're psychologically muted in the weirdest way in that
like
they can comprehend.
They're just not capable of it. That's so crazy.
They can't communicate, literally cannot communicate Shakespeare to you. They understand what it is. That's why you'll get these interviews on the street with this one kid that's talking all the jive talk, and he's all like the shorthanded speech, but it makes sense. And you're like, okay, I get it, you're an idiot, but you're not a dangerous one. And then you run into another one that speaks perfect English, but is telling you that like the Civil War happened last week and it was about marshmallows. And that's the problem with the generation is that the tablets raised them. So the information that came through was visual and audio. That was it. It didn't connect anywhere else. So they can talk. Basically, they raised an automaton generation. They'll go out and do what they're told because they quite literally can't communicate another way.
That explains so much of where we're going, where we're at, and that's just...
That's nihilism. There's no hope. You can't tell people they have a future when they quite literally cannot comprehend it.
That's so, which is
like, literacy right now on Twitter. It explains like the lack of critical thinking and the lack of media literacy or reading literacy, like in terms of comprehension. It's just crazy.
Yep. This is why they believe this wholeheartedly, though. Hey, it's me in HD, because they literally can't read a book to know different. They can't go onto Wikipedia and process the information. Their vocabulary is quite literally limited to how they communicate with each other. They don't process information above or below that. There's no curiosity either, because the information has been presented to them with no questions asked. That's what the tablet videos are doing. This is also the generation that had that weird stuff that went on with the Elsa and Spider-Man sex videos and the Spider-Man MK Ultra training. This is the kids that came up from that. You got to remember, this is 10 years after this happened. These kids are going to be driving soon.
The effects,
Right, and so this is what you've raised up as a group of people that can communicate fine. They understand what they're supposed to do, but they can't comprehend how to do it. There's never been any actionable... You remember those activity boards the kids had? They just have like little buttons that light up and stuff like that, and you give it to like a little kid.
It makes sounds and stuff.
Right, those kids are doctors now.
I like those.
The kids that were given the leapfrog tablets, they're the ones that are jumping on top of cars and dancing and making TikTok videos of themselves. There's quite literally a direct line between this, where the children were taught to experiment with their environment, and the other children were taught to take in the environment, absorb the environment.
Accept it, yeah.
Right. And that's where you're at. This is why Kai is such a huge thing, and he's just loud. He destroys his studio every now and then because he fucked up in a game. And everyone's like, yeah, that's me. I would take a broadsword to my walls if I could. Fuck this landlord. I wish I could have a broadsword. And that's just what
I guess it is that, huh? I didn't even think about like that vicarious angle about
that's all
it all.
this is now. That's what a Let's Play is. I love Let's Plays. I suck at games. And I like watching other people suck at them because I just frankly don't have the patience to go create the suckage on my own. Right. So I watch these guys like Terrorizer and Vanoss and stuff like that, and they're hilarious because they go out and create these scenarios. Same thing with Kai being so like energetic and violent, if you will. He's not necessarily hurting anybody, but he's definitely enacting quite a bit of physicality with video games, you know? And so people in his demographic feel like their catharsis magnified when he's obliterating his studio after losing a round of something, you know?
And I guess that really just, you know, to bring it back, like that sort of, I guess, really explains, like, obviously we know why Kamala wants to work with Kai because he's popular and he'll get eyes on her and everything. But like, I didn't think about that angle of your younger alpha generation is just going to sort of see her on Kai's channel and go, I'm in. Like, there's no credit. It's just guy I likes politician. Or not even likes her, like just, oh, talk to politician, I'm in. That's really all. Yeah, that's all it was. Like that is kind of, I'm not going to say like all past generations didn't have some element of that, of the showmanship that everybody fell for.
Elvis I remember met with Nixon.
Yeah, I mean,
Bill Trump's a showman. Let's be real. Trump's a showman. Bernie Sanders is a showman.
They've all been. I mean, Bill Clinton went on Arsenio Hall and played saxophone for everybody. That was essentially what this is. The insidious part about this is that, or it's not even insidious. I think I laugh at this story because if like this shows just sort of how out of touch they like modern politicians are. Right? Like they are reaching out to Kai and saying, hey, can we work with you? And Kai's telling them no. And they don't know how to find somebody else or pivot. They're just going, you are a big streamer. We need to have you. Like, please, 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 please. And they didn't plan this. Like Kai says in his video that he's been called about 5 times by the Secret Service. To me, that says they've only started talking to him maybe since the Kamala announcement. And that means they just went, oh, how do we get Kamala popular? Let's just find whoever's popular on Twitch. There was no like if Joe was here, they wouldn't be calling Joe for a hangout with Kai. Like, it's so sad and desperate and transparent that and I think that's what really gets me, Cider, is I was going to say, like, it's so sad and transparent and we can all see it. We can all see it. Everybody in our demographic, in our show, like all of our viewers, because we're all of, you know, the older 20s, 30s age range. We're not the younger Zoomers who just take it all in and just go, all right, I'm cool with that.
There's still people our age that are like that too.
There are.
It's really scary. And that's
and
because,
older.
and hell, even older too. And that's because
Absolutely.
they weren't instilled with critical thinking skills like we were. For me, it was because my dad he read with me before bed, and like I would literally read a chapter of a book. He would read a chapter.
There it is.
And that's how, you know,
and I think that's what Cider was talking about with the like engagement back and forth.
Yeah.
It requires something that we used to call parenting.
Right.
Yeah.
See, I had a really different.
Why do that when you have tablet?
Well, I had a really different upbringing than a lot of people. My father was born in 1929, my mother in 1960. So I got the Greatest Generation and the Summer of Love generation mixed together. So rather than giving me C Spot Run when I was first learning how to read, my grandmother brought the Encyclopedia Britannica 1989. And I wasn't tasked with reading that on my own. My mother would lay down with me and flip through the pages until I put my little baby hand out on a page, and she would just read that, whatever it was. Could be smack dab in the middle of a chapter about Ben Franklin, could be at the beginning of it, didn't matter. But because she did that, I ended up with a voracious desire to learn. I can't be satisfied. I have to, I'm like Tony Stark. I will master nuclear fusion, nuclear physics overnight if I have to. It's just because that Britannica taught me to just think, to explore a possibility beyond C Spot Run, beyond, all the usual children's books. I didn't get those. I had Britannica read to me. But that's an extreme situation. You have to interact with your children, or else you end up raising what we have right now, a group of people who are nihilistic, they're destructive, and they see no future because of this destruction. They see no future because they can't communicate themselves at all. And that's again, here's the petition from the kids at Genshin. They don't have a purpose in life, so they attach themselves to these things and go at it so passionately because it validates their existence for the duration of the crusade. And that's why Ubisoft ran over and tried to work with these guys over on YouTube. This German YouTuber admitted that he was, basically groomed by Ubisoft to be their friend. This is a new trend. You're going to see more of this come out. You guys know about bribing senators and mayors and politicians, right? The lobbyists will come in and
of course.
They'll take them out to a lavish dinner. They'll pay for a kitchen renovation, that kind of thing, buy them a private jet, that sort of stuff. These sort of favors that are considered bribes, but are, somehow okay in our wonderful legal system. But here we are with Ubisoft deciding, well, if it works on senators, odds are it'll work with a guy that doesn't get out in the sun often. So they decided to take these kids and they're young people. They're probably about 19, 20. The Kai Cenat age where their influence is more about their appearance than what they're saying. And so they bring these kids over to Star Wars Land, Galaxy's Edge. They play the video game.
I'd rather be given cancer, but yeah.
Right. So they'll do a video about spending the day with Ubisoft, and then they go and, go around Star Wars, they get a free trip to Disneyland. But here's the thing is they pay for their flight, they pay for their hotels, they pay for all their food, they pay for all their transportation, they pay for all their extracurricular activity outside of the mission of bringing them to interact with the brand. So basically they are buying these people's approval, and the way you feel indebted.
Oh, dude, the Ubisoft one, they paid for their flights and their hotels too. They basically gave them all expenses paid. And these were international people. Again, the guys from Germany. They said, hey, Germany, you want to come over to LA for a day and we'll put you up in a nice hotel and we'll take you to Disneyland and we'll pay for all your crap and we'll take you whale watching. This is going to be great. Now, what do you think about our video game?
And this is where we're at, is that so a sponsor on YouTube legally has to disclose that they are being sponsored. What comes with a sponsorship is not having fun in the game. You are told with what you can interact with. You are told how you can interact with it, and you are told what will get you banned or removed from the future sponsorship if
they will tell you what to describe. Make sure you highlight this mechanic or what. They will tell you what to say.
Exactly. And so a sponsorship is completely useless now. People get that word and they abandon the video immediately because all of going forward is just going to be fluff. So now Ubisoft has said, well, we can't risk people saying naughty, naughty things about our video game. We could have spent all this money actually making a good video game. I don't know why I'm using English for a French accent, but we could have spent all this money to make a very good video game. But rather than that, we're going to spend it on buying people's approval. We're going to buy friends. And so these kids will go out and play the game and they'll be like, oh, it sucks really bad, but I got to go whale watching in America. Okay, it doesn't suck that bad. And that's what they're doing.
Exactly the thought process, too. That's exactly what it is.
And that's what they're doing.
Okay, they were nice to me, though. I don't want to hurt their feelings.
Exactly.
I'll give it a better point or two, and then that bumps up.
Exactly, and that's how it works, is that they'll be less likely to be criticizing the game. And so they go out to these larger YouTubers who have influence in the realm that these games affect, and you'll see it happen with with Assassin's Creed Shadows. The same thing's going to happen again, and they're going to go out there, and they'll probably get K-poppers to do this as well. You go hang out with K-poppers and play the game together. You trade the controllers between Naue and Yasuke, and you'll be with one of the K-pop kids.
Gosh.
Listen to me, I sound like an old man. But anyway, you know, this whole thing. The damn K-poppers are all
Your
over the
damn
goddamn
K-poppers
place.
and your Yasuke's and your video games.
Your video games, your computer programs.
your computer and video games.
You need to get outside more, god damn it.
My favorite dated term is when somebody will call any video game or like even a PC game like a computer game.
Right.
I don't know why. That one always gets me. It's like,
me.
Yes, that's technically a term, but that's how nobody uses it that way anymore.
Yep. Trump knows how to run a business. You're absolutely right. We've seen that happen a couple times.
Well, apparently Montel Williams is going out and campaigning for Kamala Harris now.
Of course.
Well, I mean, she had to go on her knees to get into power, and it's going to get, or at least try and get her into the White House. Why not?
I didn't know Montel was still alive. I thought he died of cancer.
Honestly, when he popped back up into the discourse, I was like,
"What? Ricky Lake is still alive." Like, yeah,
right.
You're gonna tell me there's a new episode of Arsenio Hall on next week, and now I feel like I just said that, and they're probably
coming up after this show. An episode of Jenny Jones is gonna start.
You remember Maude? Bring it back, Maude, guys.
Bring it back,
Maude. But yeah, so that's what we're looking at here. Expect more of that buying favor with streamers. It's not going to be Ubisoft alone. They're going to see more.
And one of the most insidious points about this that I just want to touch upon is that because they're not receiving anything, like they're not getting money, they're not being paid to review it. They don't technically have to say this is a sponsored thing. We got advertised. They don't even technically have to say we went out and hung out at Ubisoft. They can just say I went to a preview event or I got to play it. Like that's the insidious nature of that, which is why like vet everybody. You're I mean, not even vet people. I guess the bigger takeaway is this is why gaming media is dying. Right? Because nobody trusts anybody anymore because this, like, I think Cider said it when we started talking about this way at the beginning of the show, like this has been a standard practice for a long time. Never like this is a pretty blatant big one. Again, paying for flights and tickets internationally and Disneyland trips. That's like way over the top, but they've got the Disney money. But this has been going on for so long that people have woken up to it and they know like, okay, we have eyes. We can see trailers. We can play demos. We know if you're giving this some weird, unnecessary praise, you're clearly just being bought out or shilled. So that's why you see the rise of YouTubers, of independent people. That's why, like you said, Cider, people are going to listen and watch more YouTube over television and all this stuff because they're as stupid as a lot of the big streamers like Aiden Ross or Kai can be. Like there's a level of genuineness in talking to most, one-on-one YouTubers. You go to Jacob's show, you go to Nerdigan's show, you go to wherever Cider is, you go to wherever I am, that we're going to be at least talking to you from a genuine perspective. We're not, looking over and going, what's the cue card say? We're not grabbing the envelope of money that's slid under our door. And I think after all these years of Rise of Skywalker is the best movie ever, or Star Wars Battlefront 2 is the best game ever. Curious that it's all Star Wars related. But after years of that, I think people are just completely fed up. And this is going to, like, who listens to these people anymore? Or like these big popular influencers? I mean, I guess people clearly do, but I feel like a lot of it is more the vicarious living. I don't even know. I feel like I'm rambling here at the end of it, but it's so awful and it's so dumb.
Well, we saw that. You got to remember too, this is a generation that was brought up with Logan Paul being a folk hero and Jake Paul being a folk hero. You have to remember they've been around for almost 15 years now, these guys,
which is
doing the
bonkers
content.
To think about.
Right, they started out as teenagers and now their audience is teenagers, and adults. And so this is what you're dealing with, is a voting age group of people that are Logan Paul fans and Jake Paul fans,
Oh God!
All they need to do is have like Kamala go on a stream and be like, "Guess what? We're gonna buy 500 hamburgers and throw them at a building. Let's go." Actually, that would probably get her genuine attention and votes.
Yep. Especially if she was talking about food deserts while she was pitching the Burger King burgers at the wall. Yeah. Yeah.
It might be the only time anybody actually pays attention to anything she has to say.
What's up, subscribers? I'm about to do a real nigga, a kickflip Macaulay off this
Dude,
roof
that's
over
an
here.
SNL skit. Guys,
No,
it's
dude.
SNL
Hello. Hello, subscribers. Hello. We
Yeah.
did it. We're here today.
I'm gonna
my
jump
God,
off
this
this
needs to be
building.
an
This
SNL
is
skit.
Kamala Harris for the Democratic Party.
Oh my god! Can you imagine the horror? Can you imagine the horror of a Kamala Harris try-on haul?
Yeah,
Could you
right?
imagine?
Oh, God.
That would be awful.
No.
We all want to
This
die.
is the president. This is the suit Kennedy wore.
It's literally the meme of the guy like ripping his face off of his own.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
Well, like,
and that,
do you guys? I always remember, like, whenever I think of Democrats in particular going for like digital online influencer engagement, like, you know, to the Republicans' credit, I feel like they know that they're the older group and they don't have any business like sniffing around there. So, you know, kudos to them. But it always feels like, I remember when AOC and Ilhan Omar played, what was it, Among Us on Twitch. And I remember one of the things that they were highlighting during the stream and all the coverage highlighted after was like, yeah, guys, check out the rig we're playing on. We've got this RTX like 3060.
Oh,
We've got
so
32 gigs of, and I'm sitting there like, you guys, first of all, you have no idea what the hell you're talking about. You don't know anything you're saying. Second, this is so fake because you don't need that to play Among Us. You can play Among Us on like an Apple II. Yeah, seriously, like you don't need that. So all of that to me is like, how do you do, fellow kids? Don't you like my cool rig? And it's like, you clearly just like, it's fake. It's so fake from the bottom up. And I can't get over it. It just bleeds, drips, fake. I'm only here to, you know, get attention. I mean, that is what a politician is. I'm not discovering any Americas with my commentary here. It's just super annoying.
well, and you know, to your point about this, you know, listening to YouTubers and this stuff. Like, again, if Entertainment Tonight brought you this information, you probably wouldn't be as comfortable with it or as open to receiving it, because Entertainment Tonight has a agenda behind why they're providing this information to you. While we are a tad bit right of center, we're not trying to change your mind about who to vote for. As we've sat here and just made fun of the cringy part of both candidates' approach to dealing with the youth, okay? We're clearly not in the pocket for either end as far as our professional broadcast lives are going. In our private lives, that's what we want to do.
We've all got our votes and everything in our private lives. But yeah, we're not,
you know,
preaching over here.
Right, and that's why YouTubers come off as more genuine, is because there is not a multi-million-dollar legal apparatus wrapped around our neck reminding us that we can't say transo.
Like that's also the thing that I feel is being sort of not glossed over, but a small detail about this entire story that I feel isn't being discussed enough is that they cut an hour-long video. Like the German YouTubers, they played their footage, they got it, whatever. They cut an hour-long video and with their thoughts. And then when they sent it to the ad agency, when they said, oh, you got to add all this, blah, 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 they also cut it by like 40 minutes. Like how do you trust any, if I were to say, oh yeah, here's my review, it's going to take an hour, and then you heard it and it was like 5 minutes, you would think something was super suspect. Why would I trust you anymore? What happened back there? It's just so bonkers that they think they can just blatantly get away with it.
Developer that's lying about what's in the game, lied about for what was it, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, lied about censoring the game because Sero told them to in Japan, and then Sero came out and said, no, they didn't do that. It made them look like a bunch of assholes.
Yeah, that was on them.
These are the same people who have like a pocket full of smoke bombs. So whenever they're cornered with a question they can't answer, to be like, "Oh, actually, boom!" and then it just disappears.
But they don't even actually disappear. They do like that gag where they're like crawling on the floor behind like a trash can. Like that's the level of their skills here.
You just see them running away out of the frame.
I mean, we covered it on Bounding on the website that they're still gonna put the Sengoku flag in the art book because they can't separate the text from the flag. Like, stop lying! You know it is not true.
There it is, right here. Ubisoft rejects request to remove stolen Japanese reenactment group banner from Assassin's Creed Shadows art book, claims the files have already been deleted, and also that they printed the book already, so you're screwed.
Yeah. So
This multi-billion-dollar company can't reprint, I don't know, 100,000 books, but whatever.
So for those who haven't caught Cider's awesome coverage of everything that is breaking down with the Assassin's Creed Shadows drama, back when we first started getting our first looks at it, we started getting concept art. They're a recreation group out in Japan. The Shoku, what are they? You know it off the top of your head.
The Sengoku Rifle
Sengoku
Corps.
Rifle Corps. That's what it is. There we go. I was gonna say like Shogaku Con because I've been talking about that all week.
Sekigahara. I'm sorry, Sekigahara.
Oh, right, there we go. Sekigahara. Yeah, the Sekigahara Rifle Corps.
Sengoku is the time period they came
Yeah,
from.
yeah.
Sekigahara is the region.
The Sekigahara Rifle Corps are a Japanese reenactment group who regularly they are focused on recreating that battle, right? Of whatever the heck it's called. I totally am blanking on all.
I think it's the Battle of Sekigahara.
I think it is the Battle of Sekigahara. But that battle was very notable for being one of the very first engagements where Japan used rifles, like actual like matchlock rifles. And the Rifle Corps, the historical one, was one of the first to do it. So that's what they recreate. And they go to the annual recreation every year. They go around Japan traveling to show people like this is what used to happen. They're basically like a bunch of cool history teachers.
And it's legally protected.
Yeah, it's legally protected. And they have a banner as part of their group that, it's a custom banner that they would have flown back in the day. It's all stylized and all that fun stuff. When the Assassin's Creed Shadow stuff came out, people noticed, oh, hey, look, these random troops in the back over here, they're carrying that banner of this real group. What the heck? And so long story short, people reached out to the Rifle Corps. The Rifle Corps reached out to Ubisoft. Eventually, Ubisoft said, yes, we did do that. Somebody screwed up. We're so sorry. Originally, I believe like at the end of, or like in the very beginning of July, Ubisoft put out an apology and they said like, yes, we did do this. And they said in their apology, we've reached out to the Rifle Corps. We've talked with them. They let us apologize. Everything now seems okay. So, we're putting it to bed. About a day after that, a representative of the Rifle Corps went onto Twitter and said, yeah, we did accept this, but I just had more talks with our team and more of the leadership of the group. And yeah, we did say it was okay, but now I think we're going to reverse it. We're just not comfortable with it. So off of that, he starts trying to reach out to Ubisoft going, hey, can you tell me, like, can somebody talk to me? We don't want that. Like, we got to change this. Like, hello, anybody. And he tries for weeks and weeks and he gets nothing. And then last week, out of nowhere, he gets a response from Ubisoft's customer service, which according to his recollection was basically just oopsies, sorry. And yeah, like they dropped a bunch of excuses like, oh, the files have already been deleted. There's no time anymore. Just a lot of stuff like that. Now, I do understand printing like schedules, and I do recognize like if you print something and you've already shipped it out and you've spent all that money, you can't really recall it immediately, especially over something like that. Like if they really wanted to do a lawsuit, I bet Ubisoft could probably win because they'd say, well, we had permission at the time of printing, yada, yada, yada. What's really BS to me is the fact that they didn't just come out and say that, right? They didn't say, we hear you, the art book it's already printed. We'll either kill it, like we'll either kill that version and we'll reprint new ones, or we will all future books won't have them. They didn't come out and say anything like that. They just did the child thing of like, no, I didn't really do it. Or I did it, but it's this fault. It's that guy's fault. This happened. And it's like, you guys would have saved yourself so much trouble if you just said printing time has passed. But now you go, we've deleted files. We don't know what you're talking about. Now you just look incompetent. Right. As somebody who works like in print and like in my old job, I worked in actually printing things. And as somebody who works in like online print here, you don't delete files. If at all, you don't delete them that fast. There is no way you delete master files of a book you just put together in a month. Like that is absolute suicide because there might be something you need to change. You might down the line, you might go to a different publisher and you'll need to send those files to that publisher. So again, yeah, they're just lying. They're lying straight to everybody's faces, even though they're claiming, oh no, we're totally on your side. We're totally here for you. It's like, no, you clearly are not.
Well, and in this case, they do have to send it to Dark Horse because Dark Horse is printing an art book as
Right,
well.
there you go. So the files are out there. People have them. If you are a big, again, this is not an indie studio. This is a AAA, quadruple A, if you believe Skull and Bones' marketing campaign, video game studio that is one of the bigger players out there. They have money. There is no, you admitting that you did such a easy, like, oopsie doopsie like this doesn't help you. It just makes you look insanely stupid. Like, beyond stupid, beyond incompetent. If I was their boss and I learned that you just deleted the master copy of the book we just published, I would probably can you way faster than you probably had the opportunity to protest. Like, it's so bonkers that that's even what they're trying to pass by anybody. Nobody's going to buy, even if you don't work with these industries. You guys all know you just don't throw away the master thing that soon after doing a work. Like, I'm sure there are books that are out of print now. The old, for example, the old collections of the DC Marvel crossovers and the amalgam stuff, those were out of print for a long time. And I'm sure that those files were deleted somewhere along the way. And that's why they had to make new ones. But those books are all 20 years old. They were not made yesterday.
Quite literally.
This game's also coming out in
quite literally.
What, October?
November.
So it's like there's
November.
no way that they finished print November. There's no way they finished printing all these books.
Well, let's say
There's
that they
no
did.
way.
Let's say that they did.
They could.
Sekigahara Rifle Corps does not charge a fee to use their iconography. What they like is to know where it's being used so it's not being abused. They have an official form on their website that says if you'd like to use a Sekigahara Rifle Corps iconography, please let us know. We only want to know where it's used so we know that it's being used appropriately. That's it. And Ubisoft was like, screw you, Jappy. We're French. We don't need to obey your stupid Jappy rules. And they didn't. They just ripped it out. And they were like, screw you. We're going to do what we want with it. By the way, Yasuke's gay. Nah, nah, boo-boo. And it probably went just like that, And that's the hardest thing to explain to people. I love this. I have to acknowledge that this group of people exist. I have Afrocentrists show up in the fucking replies on these videos, and they are yes, and they are rip shit pissed at me because I am talking about Yasuke being a samurai and he's not, and they're not listening to the video. They see white guy and they see him complaining about black character on screen, and that's all they see.
I guarantee you they're being not sicked on you, but I guarantee somebody is sharing that video and going like, wow, look at this. Like, somebody is sharing that to
this guy is the wrong
rail on
to
you.
Be saying these
things. Because like my confusion there, when your videos go up, I watch them, and I watch them maybe like an hour after they go up. I read all the comments. They're generally like, you got your Japanese folks, you got our regular viewers, we see you all, and I've seen maybe like one or two people be like, shut up, racist, but I've never seen like a flood, which means it happens after I get out of there. Yeah. Which means somebody gets it down the line and goes, oh, look at this moron.
It's true. Again, like we get them on, we have a video about Hannibal being played by Denzel Washington in the new movie there. And
Gladiator,
the new Gladiator movie. And there are still Afrocentrists replying to that almost a year later to dress down Mr. Trent about his comments about Hannibal being white. And it's still happening, and they're screaming and hollering at him in like all caps. I'm like, he don't work here no more. He don't work here no more.
Right? Like,
take your anger elsewhere. But he did, he did.
Yeah, he did. I say he did.
He can't hear you no more. But
what's funny is I gotta say this because you're bringing up the Afrocentrists. Someone called one of my followers a white Yasuke wannabe ass.
Wow, that's impressive. That not only makes sense, but it's also racially offensive. Neat.
If you want to be racist, if you want to be racist and have a Star Wars theme, you can always call people force monkeys. I mean,
that's true. There's that one.
But like that was the most random thing. Like, what? After all this, you're gonna call someone a white Yasuke wannabe? Like,
you should have replied, at least pick an anime that's actually good.
Yeah, right. Like at least give me some credit.
So what they reply with though is they're angry about this, and so I have to explain that this is a real person that had their names stolen, and because white people in France and Canada didn't think his real life was cool enough, they made up a fake one. And then they decided the Japanese weren't smart enough to recognize how cool this guy was, so they started to make them butt-to-butt bow around him, meaning the characters turn away from each other, put their butts together, and bow in his presence. It's the most bizarre thing, but it keeps happening.
What in the world?
And it's a glitch. It's a Ubisoft game. The
Okay.
Bethesda guys must have leaked over there. I don't know. But so people, they don't even know about that because they don't watch the video. They just see white guy on camera complaining about game featuring black man. And that's all they go on. And when I finally explain what happens, guess what happens? They go silent. They never
Always.
reply again when I give them the big 6-paragraph breakdown about just exactly why this is a problem and why they should be mad at Ubisoft for the same reasons they're mad at me. So
Well, but you know,
they don't like
Yeah.
it.
I don't know
Don't
if
shoot
you
the
guys have seen
messenger.
it. I don't know if you guys have seen this or not, but I've been getting this in my comment sections. Is that they're accusing the Japanese people that are pissed off about the whole thing with Yasuke as being white people,
Yes.
disguised, impersonating Japanese people on Twitter. I'm like,
White guys in disguise.
like really? And I've quote retweeted these people and said, Japanese Twitter, you should see this. This is what psycho Westerners think of you.
Psycho,
They think
indeed.
that, yes, they're psycho, and they are pissed. They do not like that at all, obviously.
But that's where it rests today. We did a video about it today. There's a consumer report out from Player XP that explains that the overall.
What was that? I haven't gotten a chance to. I only saw your headline so far. What's up with this?
So this is a new group that uses
Gotta know.
AI to capture over 100,000 conversations about this instance. So their first breakdown on the PDF here. Hold on, let's see if I can dig it up. Their first like graph breakdown of what's happening in the where did it go? Assassin's Creed report. Anyway, the I don't know where I put it now. Ta-da, there it is. Okay, I got it now. We'll bring it up. So the if it'll load. I love my life. Is it loading? There it is. Okay, so
Yeah.
Player XP is a group that has just recently been put together by a couple of gamer guys, and they use AI to capture Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook conversations about certain, probing topics like this. And so their documentation of this, and I'll just skip down here. So this is what they did. They got over 129,000 interactions that are talking about Yasuke, Ubisoft, Japan, and Assassin's Creed Shadows in a conversation. However, this second pairing of graphs is tore down to specifically talking about Assassin's Creed Shadows and Ubisoft and the version of Yasuke in that. And you can see it is overwhelmingly negative toward Ubisoft's presentation. So much so that the report, this is all distilled by AI, by the way. So it's ChatGPT doing this. So this isn't anybody that's like deliberately trying to tilt this thing to hate Yasuke. It's in fact the opposite, because as you'll see right here, it gives us a toxicity rating, this whole conversation, a toxicity rating of negative 37. And what this consists of, though, is it mentions this here, that this is way below the average gamer conversation about a controversial game. So this has been the most civil conversation about a disruption in the gaming culture that this group can find, okay? And that the
That's
problem with Yasuke isn't that
incredible.
he's black, it's that he disrupts Japanese history, because Ubisoft promised us that they were building a historically accurate Japan based on the historians and the cultural experts that they hired. And it mentions that right here. This is Player XP that dropped I just noticed this afternoon this morning while I was taking a look at what was going on with the news, and these guys popped up and they were like, here's our shit. And there it is. Overwhelmingly negative toward Yasuke and Ubisoft and Assassin's Creed Shadows, but not negative toward the Japanese, not negative toward Yasuke as he existed in real life. As they close out the quote, their whole report out with this quote right here. It says, "You do know that Yasuke served as a retainer to the Japanese daimyo Oda Nobunaga for a period of 15 months between 1581 and 1582. And this is from, it says player quote on YouTube. So again, this is what they close it out with. This is what they're telling us is and it goes into the price, the monetization, what the price, what people's conversation about the prices, and I don't really care about that. So what they're telling us, closing out the report about this controversy, is that we're right. We're not the problem here. Ubisoft is the problem. They're creating the toxicity here. If you look at these negative reports, they're the ones, you see these black bars on the side, that's the negative reception to Ubisoft's offerings right here. It's quite clear that Ubisoft is creating the toxic environment, not the gamers.
I mean, I love this because it sort of gives the factual backup to, like, so I raised this a little while ago. About a month back, we saw all of the gaming outlets like dropped articles about like, oh, all the gamers are racist because they don't like Yasuke. That was like, you know, Kotaku did it, Polygon did it, The Verge did it, all of those big players. But if you read them, like you could tell from the headline that they were clearly like reacting like instead of actually making an argument. But once you get into the articles, all of the arguments basically just boil down to, they're racist. They don't like black people. There was no talking about the history. There was no talking about what people's actual complaints were. It was just general like, oh, see, gamers hate diversity. And it was at that moment that I knew you guys had nothing. You know you're wrong. And all you can do is start swinging and hope that the fact that you're punching out makes other people go, oh, they're punching that way. They must be punching for a reason. Let's help them punch. Like that's what they're relying on. There is nothing there is no pushback to what Ubisoft has done. They've lied, they've stolen, they've failed at all of their promises of keeping Japan historically accurate. Like this game is a complete disaster and they deserve absolutely everything that is coming their way. And I'm not surprised by it at all.
And so that's out now. So again, player XP, they're new to the game. They're not that, but this sample size that they provide, Rasmussen at maximum takes 3,000 people in. They had 129,000 interactions sampled here. This was not 2,000 people barking at each other in a thread. This was over 100,000 conversations that were happening about Ubisoft's Assassin's Creed Shadows. And that's where this information is born out of, specifically.
And like, what?
Even ChatGPT, that's what I stress. This was made by ChatGPT. This information was distilled down through ChatGPT into this report. So even ChatGPT, as tilted as it is into the DEI wonderland, okay? Yes. As tilted as it is, admits that this is going south fast.
I mean, it's... One thing I would really be interested in seeing, and this can probably roll into probably like the last thing we'll talk about, if at all. We're already 30 minutes past, but I know this will probably get Nerdigans fired up. But I want to know what their AI engine was that they were using, because as I've learned from covering the recent AI Mantra engine manga light novel news, they're like the Mantra engine that they use for translating light novels and manga, it actually takes into account context, like because it's AI and it's not just machine translating, it's going like, where's this word bubble? What did the character just say before? What is the scenery like it takes all of that into account to give you. So instead of, if the text says something like, man, it's a scorcher out today, a machine translation might put like, I am literally on fire, my skin is melting, but it's like that doesn't work. But then the Mantra engine will be like, it'll give you something. It might not be perfect. It might be like, man, so hot day, very uncomfortable. And it's like, then you go take it to the human editors that Mantra has. But I wonder, if this is an AI that takes context into context, then that would bolster these results even more, because then they're looking at the context and seeing nobody's flinging anything, nobody's doing all this, so on and so forth. So interesting.
It could be like either that or like Orange's engine as well, because Orange has a similar engine.
So I want to explain something about ChatGPT. Is if you have a premium account, you can tell ChatGPT to make a ChatGPT for you. a specific AI that only does certain tasks and behaves in certain manners. Now, much like the U.S. Constitution, you cannot build an AI that just screams the N-word infinitely. You have to obey the set rules of the TOS.
Why are we even doing this?
Right, exactly. What's the point anymore?
Justice for Tay AI.
Like half the team immediately just walks off the project.
Yeah, right. I'm out of here.
I just can't help it. I can't help but think of Pokemon when everyone was like naming their Pokemon like different curse words in the original games, and then they changed it so you couldn't, and everyone was so pissed.
Right.
Hey, man, at least they're not falling off of cliffs.
And so you can build a module that synthesizes all this information for you, distills it down into what's digestible, these 100,000 interactions. However, you're still going to have that filter in place that is not allowing you to go, you know, full funny mustache man with the information you're getting. And so that's the truth of it, is that the DEI robot at ChatGPT is acknowledging that you've done effed up, Ubisoft. You screwed up this time. So I'm excited. I'm excited to find out what it actually plays like, because I think the worst offense to this whole game is going to be that it's going to be boring. It's not going to be that it's historically inaccurate. That's going to be awful. It's not going to be that Yasuke is going to be a fucking clown with hip-hop music behind him and nobody else getting it. That's going to be really on the nose. But no, I think the worst sin that this game is going to have is it's going to be boring.
Not glitchy?
Not in the fun way. It won't have like floating teeth and eyeballs, but it'll probably have like whole walls disappear in the middle of cutscenes. You know,
that would be actually pretty hilarious.
It wouldn't surprise me if just like a black void appears behind Nobunaga in certain scenes because they just couldn't be bothered to get the shadow right in Assassin's Creed Shadows. So, you know, again, we're not dealing with people who are focused on the game. They are focused on the message. So, but
it's always the message. It's the most important. Well, there goes my green screen again. I just got it standing
the
back up.
The message isn't as important as your green screen.
It's more important.
Spencer is rapidly losing this battle with his green screen. It's like a 10-8 round right now.
Dude, I'm already on my like second one. Like the circle one I used to use stopped working, and now this one's stopping to work. I got it. I need just like a studio.
I do too. I just need a studio, but I'm poor. And my kitty is
amen to that, sister. All right, but with that Shadows talk and all that, and the Discovery news and everything, is there anything else anybody wants to hit before we get out of here?
We do have the new laser.
It's gonna take a second for it to load.
This is I want to explain. The laser tonight is just a test laser. It is going to fire at Gwenpool and another character that are discussing their pronouns, but those don't appear on screen. So unfortunately, it's just the way the image rendered inside of that. This is just a test to blow up Gwenpool. She's not the topic here tonight. It was just a test. So please understand the randomness is
like
only right. We're doing a firing test on someone's planet. You're right. Yeah. Say goodbye, princess. So without further ado, the laser's back, everybody. It's better than it ever has been. Brace yourself.
Oh, now we're causing planet damage. That's what I'm talking about. A true upgrade.
Full Digimon 2020, baby.
There we go.
Exactly. Love it. No, that's awesome. I can't wait until we can officially use it and blow up things again. We've let too many things continue on. We got to stop that.
You got to blow up localizers next.
We got to blow up localizers. Got to blow up Disney. Got to keep blowing things up.
Out there.
She's still out there. We need to put an end to it. As much as that pains me to say, I understand. But yes, guys, I think with that laser test fire, that is I think we'll wrap it up here for tonight. I want to thank every single one of you for coming to hang out with us. I know we had some new viewers. We had all of our old viewers. Love you guys so much. There's way too many of you for me to even try to remember. I know I would forget so many of you. So I'm just going to say, I see you all. You're the best. before we officially get out of here, I am of course going to go around the horn, and I'm going to let everybody here let you know what they've got going on. Starting with, well, I can't actually do it this time because I'm not logged into the main account. Ciderman is up for doing this. So whoever you want to throw up, Cider.
So here's Jacob.
We'll start with me. So last night on the Barroom actually premiered our brand new intro where I turned everyone into superheroes. So if you guys check that one out, I turned Cider into Spider-Man, Spencer as the Winter Soldier, and Nerdigan's got turned into Black Widow. So go check that out. Obviously, we're gonna make some tweaks to it, and we'll have a brand fresh new one for Tuesday night show. This coming Friday, we're going to be doing a movie night where we're going to be watching Used Cars, the old Kurt Russell 1980s films. So we're doing that on Friday. Sunday, we'll be doing our episode of The Bible Ends, talking about Hollywood and Freemasonry. And that's pretty much what I got worked on. I got like 3 reviews coming up this weekend on the Bounding YouTube as well. So I'll be busy working on that. So it'll be a bit busy weekend for me. So that's all I got coming up.
Miss Nerdigans?
You can catch me on my YouTube channel, Nerdigans Inc., where I cover anime and manga every day. On Patreon, I am covering even more anime. I'm doing anime live reactions, like for 2.5D Seduction, where I'm exposing how botched both the anime and the official manga is. Oh God, it's really, really, really bad. I'm waiting to get an official, I get a copy of the latest 7 Seas one, so I can do an article on it, because it's when I say it's bad, it's like abridged bad. Let's go with that.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's really bad. I actually did a thread the other day comparing I think it was the fan translation to a chapter of the 7 Seas localization. It is bad. But yeah, I'm doing that. Obviously I have my articles that went viral. One of them went viral in terms of the localization content. I'm getting attacked by localizers now. 2 localizers in the past couple of days.
Shoot the messenger, huh?
Yeah, they
means
don't
you're
like
doing something right.
I must be.
We'll
see what.
Sorry.
Yeah, we'll see what else I'm going to be covering soon. I don't know if you're going to cover it, Spencer. What's going on with the fan mod or not? Because you like the.
Yes, yeah.
You're going to cover that, right?
I think so. I think I'll cover it tonight. Yeah.
Do you want me to cover the localizer response to it? And
always.
Okay, so you'll cover the mod. I'll work on the localizer response.
1, 2. Yep.
Tonight. Yeah, this is part 2. I feel so bad for them.
Dug their own grave.
Yeah, that's what people are saying, is that they dug their own grave, kind of, because of them going to the left side, the far left side, that the publisher did. But anyways.
Over on the Bounding Into Comics channel, we talked about Assassin's Creed, that report we just went over. I go over in a little more in depth in it in the video I produced today. Feel free to drop by and interact with the 15% Japanese audience we are currently gripping on tightly to here with the Bounding Into Comics YouTube channel. For some reason, the Japanese seem to like to hang around, so if you'd like to meet Japanese people, interact with them, ask them kooky questions about their country, feel free to drop by our comment section, because it's party time in there. But it's usually like way early in the morning on the American side when they show up, so don't like count on them to be there for breakfast, all right? Other than that, we're also covering gaming news over there. We're kind of more BIG these days, big on the YouTube channel, leaning into the gaming content. So you have to forgive us if you're looking for comic content. A little dry on that right now. Deadpool kind of sucked all the air out of the room, so we'll have to wait for something interesting to crop up. I don't know about you, but I am hoping for that Wesley Snipes Logan-style send-off movie for the old man. Hopefully that happens. If not, I think it'll be a disservice to cinema. And maybe we'll get that guy that complained about Marvel movies to direct it. Scorsese. Wouldn't that be fun if they got Scorsese to direct a Blade movie that's a send-off for him? That would be fun, like a mafia vampire story. But here you go. Here's Spencer to tell you the rest of what's going on.
There's only going to be one Blade. No, I would watch Martin Scorsese do it, if not just to like see him writhe in every interview he does after that when he has to deal with all the like crazy Marvel stands. It would be like the worst day of his life. But anyway, yes, guys. second worst day of his life after the day Iron Man came out, right?
Well, no, I would say like the day he went to jail for tax evasion.
Okay, okay, fine. It's tax evasion, whatever. Who doesn't do a little bit of tax evasion? It's called do a little tax evasion. We're gonna do a little tax evasion.
Just a little bit.
Just a little tax evasion.
There's only ever gonna be one tax evader.
Full circle. Love it. Look at that. Perfect wrap up. Yes, guys, we are at the end of the show. I don't really have a lot to promote. Check out boundingintocomics.com every day for news stories. Check out Studio Kabuto on YouTube if you want to hang out with me live. And yeah, subscribe to everybody around here. Catch me over on Jacob's channel anytime he's got a stream. Go check out Nerdigan's awesome Patreon coverage of everything going wrong with anime. Smash that like button down below to hang out with Cider every day. He's dropping so much good content. Yeah, just hang out with us. And if you want to hang out with us again live next week, you can come back, same bat time, same bat channel for another episode of the 01 stream. And hopefully we will have the laser fully operational by then. And if not, you'll just have to deal with it. But aside from that, I think that is all we have for tonight.
All right, then. We'll see you in the next one, guys. Good luck out there.
Take it easy.
Gonna ride into the night with a fire that burns so bright. Speed of light and a heart so strong. Chasing dreams where I belong. Thunder in the midnight air. Wings of steel, we're almost there. Racing for the stars aglow. To the only place I know. Sky Rider Deluxe. Flying high with the stars above. Sky Rider Deluxe. Feel the power, feel the love. No fear, no turning back. On this endless hero's track.